Good morning, Daybreak Watchers. We're going to get going in about 40 seconds here.
See how long it is before you're on again.
I get put on the do not call list.
Well,
I think I've achieved that now at Fox and CNN.
Madison's home for the Stephanie Miller Show. 8 to 11, 92.7 WMDX.
Finding support for my child with ADHD felt overwhelming. I didn't know which direction to take, but Understood.org's resources helped guide me. Now I have the tools I need to keep us moving forward. Visit u.org/yourpath today.
Good morning!
Morning! Good morning! Good morning!
Good morning. We've talked the whole night through.
Good morning!
Good morning to you.
This is where Wisconsin wakes up. It's Daybreak with Brian Noonan and Jamie Martinson. Here are your hosts, Brian and Jamie.
6:06 right now. Thank you so much for joining us on this Friday morning. We made it to the end of another week. Yay, us. We've already got people joining us on the live stream this morning, Brian, commenting.
Nice.
Alicia's very excited that the live stream is up again after being down yesterday. Thank you
We're
for that,
back.
Alicia. And Daniel saying, happy Friday. Sup, peoples. Well, it's Friday. That's basically all you need to know.
That's all this up, baby. You know, we're up, we're at 'em. We're glad you're here. If you want to get involved with us, we'd love to hear from you. 855-75-CIVIC, 855-752-4842. You can do the heavy lifting today. So call in. You can voice your opinions, and we can take a break. No, that's not true. We've got a lot to get to. Got a lot. No, it's never going to happen. We will not be silenced. Not that anybody's trying to silence us, but it's nice to build the drama on a Friday morning.
It is.
Go into the weekend with questions like, oh, what's going to happen? Well, as
Nothing
we have...
as it turns out. We're just
What's
keep
that?
talking. I said nothing as it turns out. We're going to just keep talking like we always
Let's
do.
hope. Let's hope. So we start with headlines out of Iran. We're going to start our fourth week of this war. On tomorrow will mark the fourth week. So here we go. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said the country will heed Trump's call not to repeat attacks on key Iranian energy sites like the South Pars field. Iran continued to make retaliatory strikes around the region, including against Kuwait, as the Middle East conflict deepened energy supply fears.
Also in headlines from Iran this morning, Mojtaba Khamenei, there we go, I'll get it out this morning, who has made no public appearance since being chosen to succeed his father, said in a written statement, security must be denied to all Iran's enemies.
Oh, good. That would be us, right? We're one of Iran.
It would be
Okay.
us, yes.
Well, that's a good way to start the day. President Trump confirmed that he's seeking $200 billion in new Pentagon funding, calling it, quote, a small price to pay to equip the military. And we're going to get into that a little more as the program goes on. So we'll talk about that and how much is too much.
Iranian state media are reporting that Major General Ali Mohammed Naini, the spokesperson for the powerful Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, has officially been killed.
All right. And oil prices. Oh, here we go. They edged lower on Friday. That's it's good news, right? Well, that came after a tumultuous day that saw the international benchmark surge above $119 a barrel as the Middle East conflict deepened energy supply fears. But analysts warned that prices would stay elevated with energy infrastructure damaged and vital oil and gas shipping lane, the Strait of Hormuz, effectively shut down. Goldman Sachs even suggested that higher prices could last all the way through 2027, which goes against what we've been told, that prices are going to drop immediately, Jamie.
Yeah, it turns out that's probably not how it's going to be. Alicia chiming in this morning over on social media saying in her area, gas has gone up almost $1 a gallon over the last few days, which is, I think, a familiar story for a lot of people.
Yeah, I mentioned that yesterday that I filled up on Wednesday, and it was literally $1 more than it was a week ago.
Yeah,
So.
absolutely. Before we jump into Pentagon spending, just a couple of headlines from around the area that you may have missed. U.S. Attorney General Pam Bondi is allowing Brad Schimmel to keep overseeing federal cases in Wisconsin under a new title. He's been named First Assistant U.S. Attorney in Milwaukee, where he will continue leading operations. This kind of move is common when Senate confirmation votes are delayed. It allows federal offices to keep running while political battles over appointments continue.
And Madison police are under question amid questions about the way they interpreted crime data and used artificial intelligence. Madison's Office of the Independent Police Monitor has taken down its most recent annual report and placed it, quote, under review. The 2025-26 annual report, which is the second to come out of the office since it was created, used AI to create the report's cover, which appears to show a skyline of Madison with 2 state capitals. Oh, you always got to proofread, folks. With one on the lakefront. It also used the check and edit. It also used AI to check and edit the report, but did not write it. There are also certain clarifications that need to be made in some of the claims the report makes about juvenile offenders. So remember, AI is a tool. It doesn't do everything for you yet. So
that feels like one that could have been very easily not a problem whatsoever just by using your own eyes. But hey, what do I know?
Maybe people want 2 capitals. Because we're not getting enough drama out of one.
Maybe.
Let's get us another one.
And boy, has it been dramatic over there. We'll also get into that further later on this morning in the program. Roger chiming in on Facebook this morning. I'm happy to see all 3 of you back. Yay. Thank you for that, Roger. After that
Roger.
Disappointment from yesterday. I don't know if he's referring to us or the Badgers losing, but
he
whatever.
says doggone Badgers, yes.
The doggone Badgers, yes.
We're a moment of silence for Parker.
Yes.
That's
How are you
enough.
doing, Parker?
I'm fine. You know, the Badgers were either going to go to the Final Four or they were going to lose in the first round. There was no other option, so I feel fine.
That feels like acceptance this morning in some sort of
roundabout
way.
What stage of grief is that, the acceptance? Is that 7th or?
Oh, at least 5th. I don't know.
Okay.
It's
All right.
down
Well,
the
you're moving
road.
through the process quickly then.
Yeah,
so
good for
maybe
you.
you are
Yeah,
okay.
I'm used to losing quickly in the NCAA tournament now.
That seems to be Wisconsin sports just in general. Go in hot, lose quickly. And, here we are. But
Here we are.
we
Well,
do have
yesterday. Sorry.
go
ahead.
No, I was just going to say we have some, we alluded to it, some big news from the Pentagon based on, what they want to spend for this war in Iran.
Yeah, they are seeking another $200 billion in additional funding. That is a massive request that traditionally we need Congress to approve. We'll see. Defense officials say the money would cover ongoing military operations, weapons, and replenishing supplies, which we are still hearing the Biden administration being blamed for, and Ukraine and all of that. But this comes on top of about $150 billion already given to the Pentagon last year, plus the regular $800 billion annual defense budget. So my question to you at 855-75-CIVIC is, how much is too much? And if this war is supposed to be done quickly, why do we need that much money on top of the $950 billion that we've already committed to the Defense Department? And also remember, you can question that without being anti-military.
Yes, absolutely. And I mean, for a war that we continue to be told is not a war, should be ending soon, is just a short-term excursion, as the president has actually called it, this feels like a large budget, especially for something that has had, at this point, no congressional approval.
Correct.
Other than to say, the initial attack was okay. It didn't go against the War Powers Act, so we're going to allow this to play out. Now, we remember a couple of weeks ago when they had that particular vote, the government and this administration only has 60 days to prove
Correct.
why they're actually there and whether or not this is something that we need to dive deeper into. Well, we're already a couple of weeks into that vote, so the clock is ticking, I think, essentially at this point to prove what the purpose is of why we might be in the Middle East right now.
It does appear that the administration is trying to inflict as much damage in those 60 days as possible, just from the outside, without being a military expert. If you look at it, you go, boy, the dialogue coming out of there, the actions we're taking, and now that we're alone, basically in the world. Everybody's saying, no, we're not going to help with the straits. It doesn't seem like it's going to end quickly. And again, we do not have any exit strategy. We haven't been told of any exit strategy, I should say.
Right. And Democrats are demanding clear answers on that strategy, the goals, and how that money is going to be spent before they approve anything. Some Republicans are also hesitant to give the Pentagon this kind of money, especially those focused on cutting federal spending and reducing the deficit. Of course, the U.S. national debt is already over $39 trillion, which adds a lot of pressure to justify any new spending. And as you rightfully pointed out, I mean, this has nothing to do with being against the military. This is about this administration being accountable for their acts. Yeah. And as voters, we should also be demanding that sort of accountability from our Congress to get to the bottom of this, to get the answers, because this is taxpayer money. I mean, this is
that's Cindy's. Yeah. Cindy texts in and asks that. Where is the money coming from? You can text or call at 855-75-CIVIC as well if you want to get in. You want to play conspiracy theory for just a second?
Ooh, tinfoil hat time?
Yeah.
I love it. Okay.
Don Jr. and Eric have gone into the drone business.
Mm.
We, the American people, have already purchased drones from them. I'm wondering how much of that extra $200 billion would go to buy drones from a certain company to continue. And I only say that because of the proven records that have come out to say how much the Trump family has enriched themselves in this second term in a year. So it wouldn't surprise me. Now, I'm sure there are ongoing costs in a war that you don't budget for.
Of course.
I don't know if $200 billion, again, that's on top of 150 that was already given on top of the 800. I like to keep throwing these numbers out so people can wrap their head, or if you can't even wrap your head around $1 trillion.
You might need more coffee for that many zeros, for sure. But but you're right. I mean, it is a lot of money to wrap your mind around. And what I find fascinating is, as this story plays out, lawmakers are being pressured to tie this funding into other priorities, which could actually make the total cost even higher. So this administration likes to push through their agenda at all costs, right? Mm-hmm. And so I feel like this is going to be one of those things where, are we going to see this tied to aid that we desperately need here in the United States? But, oh, by the way, we're going to tack this on because this is also protecting those same interests. And you see lawmakers do this a lot. That's nothing new. I'm not
There's
saying
always
that.
Pork.
Right. But in this particular case, it's really hard to justify $200 billion for a war that nobody really understands why we're fighting at this particular moment. It wouldn't surprise me, as you were saying, about the pork and the administration trying to get their things. We're going to talk about a bridge that they were basically held hostage if you didn't do what they say. And we heard the president say last week he would refuse to sign any other bills unless the SAVE Act was passed. So they will do whatever they need to get their agenda across. It'll be interesting to see the debate because Republicans traditionally very hawkish when it comes to financing the Defense Department. And again, I don't have any problem with the military being funded. But there is a point where we have to say, okay, enough's enough. Why give us a line item? Give us a budget. Right. If we're going to spend something here at the station, they ask, what's the cost? What's it for? What's going on? Most people have to do that at their jobs. Yeah.
Before we sign off to increase the national debt again by another $200 billion, we need to know what it's for, not vagaries.
And think about what we could do in this country with $200 billion. Roads, schools, healthcare, lowering costs, Medicaid, food shares, all of that kind of stuff. We could do a lot with $200 billion.
But we never have money for those things.
No.
We
try to cut those programs.
Historically, this country has always had money for war when we didn't have money for anything else. So it's not a big surprise. This is nothing new. It's just the numbers get bigger.
Yes. It's 6:19 right now. You are listening to Daybreak on this Friday morning. My name is Jamie Martinson.
And I'm Brian Noonan. Chuck Schumer is potentially being cut out of a DHS funding deal. We'll tell you about that and so much more as Daybreak continues on the Civic Media Network.
All right.
I got a new chair.
She did get a chair.
Wow.
Yes.
They buy you a special chair just for you?
Sort of, kind of.
Good.
It came from one of our studio teardowns. It's much more comfortable, but Parker got to witness me trying to get in said chair this morning.
Yeah. You've got to learn to like stand on the little metal ring around
That's
the bottom.
what I was doing.
Were you?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
But then you stand on it, and it's rolly so that it goes out from underneath of you.
Maybe start turning your back to the desk. That way you just roll into the desk.
I apologize to anybody on the live stream that this has essentially become me trying to get on a chair during the show. But
this might be a dumb question, but Parker, couldn't you just lower the camera a little bit?
If we do that, because you and I then aren't even on the screen on the little Brady Bunch boxes. So
the camera is on top of a computer monitor. Is the other thing.
Yeah.
So new.
So unfortunately,
couldn't we shoot Jamie from a lower angle?
I look taller.
Yeah, where are the video boys? Get them on this. Come in and figure it out, so Jamie doesn't have to, climb a ladder to get in the frame. I guess I could sit on the floor.
You're right. Yeah.
I like that idea.
This is 5-1 problems.
Brian, I really like the idea of you sitting in the back of that room.
Yeah,
but
just
the camera
all the
remains
all the
where
way
it
back.
is. Yeah.
I'll have to get a longer cord for the mic, but I could do it. But then I'd have to wear pants.
Yeah. Nobody wants to wear real pants.
No.
Or pants in general.
My least favorite part of coming to work.
$200,000 million. Wow. Yikes.
Holy bucket.
That's even worse.
Yeah, that doesn't make me feel any better.
No. That's, oh my gosh.
Do we want to start with that text?
Sure.
Okay.
Sure. It's all part of funding and money and what they're asking. So,
all right. 10 seconds here.
Wisconsin wakes up here. Back to Daybreak with Brian and Jamie.
6:22 right now. Thank you so much for joining us on the Civic Media Network. My name is Jamie Martinson.
And good morning. I'm Brian Noonan. We're glad you're here. We want to hear from you all morning. 855-75-CIVIC, 855-752-4842. Don't forget, it's 7 o'clock, Jamie. It's another day of dough being given away on our Break into Spring multi-state text-to-win contest.
Ooh, I'm very excited because first week has been very successful. We've had lots of people enter. We've had lots of people win that daily prize of $200 in cash and then also get entered into the big drawing for the grand prize, which is that queen mattress set from Verlo. That's a package of over $1,300 that somebody is going to walk away with at the end of this contest. So get your Civic Media app ready and be ready to text in the keyword after 7 o'clock this morning. That will be your first word of the day. And then remember, you're going to have multiple chances to qualify throughout all of today. And then, of course, all next week again, too. So plenty of opportunity to still get your name into the drawing for those great
and
prizes.
thankfully, they always give us an easy word.
They do.
So,
yeah.
As I look at the list, some words get too hard to spell.
Well, it's early, so we don't want to make it too tricky, too early in the morning while people are trying to get out the door to work and kids to school and all of that good stuff.
So you'll hear that at 7 o'clock. Strongly worded letter sure to be coming soon because White House border official Tom Homan met with centrist Democratic senators to try to reopen the Department of Homeland Security. The meeting went around Senate Democratic leader Chuck Schumer, who did not attend. Oh, he's going to be very upset. And I wonder how we'll find out how Homan chose the senators that he chose to meet with.
Bet you Fetterman was in the room.
I'm sorry, I said Democratic senators, Jamie. may have misspoke and said turncoats, or this is just a sidebar. This John Fetterman thing is bizarre.
It is
because
really bizarre.
I was a big proponent of John Fetterman when he was initially running. I liked that working class ethos. I heard good things about him from people in Pennsylvania. I read what he had done. I was like, okay, I kind of like this guy. And I don't know what happened after the stroke.
Yeah.
I honestly don't. But he has voted against Democrats pretty much exclusively since he had his medical issues. And I'm not tying one to the other, but if I were one of his constituents, I would be furious.
I think it would be interesting to see what the polling is in Fetterman's district. I haven't seen any of that. I guess that's me. I haven't dug into it either. I'm sure it exists somewhere out there. We have our own issues in Wisconsin.
Yeah, we can't worry about Pennsylvania.
I haven't dug into it. But I think it would be interesting to see how people do respond in his district to him and the decisions he's been making, just based on how he's voted and how he has sided with Republicans on a majority of issues that literally are not good for his constituents, especially, if you're looking at the country in general, fine. But when you look at his specific district, he votes against his own people quite often when he sides with the Republicans.
He reminds me a lot of Kristen Sinema, where you get elected under one banner and quickly align yourself with the other. But that was a sidebar, because now we're back, and Chuck Schumer, the boy who did not get invited to the party, is probably going to be very upset about this meeting between Homan and some Democratic senators.
And these talks lasted for over an hour. Both sides, they still say that they're still far from any sort of deal on negotiating this DHS shutdown. The funding, as we all remember, or maybe not, because this seems like 100 bazillion years ago, kind of like the money the Pentagon's asking for. Funding expired on February 14th. The agency is now partially shut down. Republicans, along with the White House, believe that they might have a better chance working with the moderate Democrats instead of party leadership. And some of the centrist Democrats, Brian, have previously broken with the party to end a government shutdown. At any rate, at some point, you have to get this funding figured out, because this isn't just about ICE at this point. If you're going to an airport right now and you're one of those people slogging through those TSA lines because workers are quitting, because there's no funding. I mean, these lines, people at airports are standing in line for hours on end, because DHS also funds all of that too. ICE is taken care of, by the way.
Right, but here's the other thing. Democrats have put forth, I think, 5 different bills that would fund everything except for ICE.
Right.
But the Republicans, and it goes back to what we were saying before, pushing the agenda and not allowing other things.
Right.
They are going to count on the fact that even though they've technically been the ones who keep TSA agents from getting paid and keep those agencies from being funded, the Secret Service and some others, that the public outcry is going to be so great as people have to wait and wait and wait at airports that Democrats will have to cave because their constituents will complain. Where in reality, all of that could have been taken care of, and negotiations over how much funding ICE should get going forward would continue. So it's important to point out the reality of this, and not it's the Democrat shutdown, because, as you said, Chuck Schumer, I think, was one of the Democrats who broke last time to stop the shutdown. So this one it's falling on the Republicans' feet, but they're so good at messaging, and so good at
much better than the Democrats ever are at messaging. Yeah.
So the messaging is, look, folks, you're suffering because of the Democrats. And if I'm in line for 3 hours, I'm looking to blame somebody. And if that's the message I keep hearing, that's the person I'm blaming.
Well, and that's what we're hearing right now. And let's be clear, the Democrats are asking for things like judicial warrants, and this is all for ICE, limits on the masks that the agents are able to wear, as well as better training. Republicans say that they're willing to give some reforms like the body cams, but Democrats right now are saying that's not enough. This is where the holdup essentially lies. And there's also growing tension in the Democratic Party, because there is pressure on leaders like Schumer to take a much harder stance. So I don't know if this is going to come to a head anytime soon. So if you're going to do any sort of air travel, plan on being at the airport for a while, unfortunately.
Get there early.
6:29 right now. You are listening to Daybreak. I am Jamie Martinson.
And I'm Brian Noonan. After the news, is it the government's place to tell you what you can eat, even if you are getting aid? We'll talk about that and so much more. It is the Civic Media Network.
I was talking to a friend the other day, and her sister and her family did their annual spring break trip with all 4 kids.
Oh, God.
And they have kids at 12 down to, I think the littlest one, I don't know the sister very well. I think the littlest one is like 3. And they had to fly out of O'Hare.
Okay.
I was like, oh, God, please don't even tell me where this is going. They stood in line for 2.5 hours trying to get through TSA. And I was like, no, see, at that point, I would have just said, screw these plane tickets. Let's go rent a car. I'm driving, because it might have been, you could have, think of how much further you would have even been down the road.
Yeah, I can't imagine. And listen, I don't blame TSA. If nobody's paying me, I'm not showing up for free.
Right? Yeah.
People can't afford. If you're not getting paid, you can't afford your child care. You can't afford gas to get to work. You can't afford any of you can't afford to eat. No. So why am I going to keep showing up? And again, whose fault is that? Well, if you could have funded them and chose not to,
right,
because you're holding out for something else, then you're the problem.
Right.
And that's not
agreed.
histrionics. That's just common sense.
Parker, did you find this poll? Thank you for this.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's the Quinnipiac poll on Fetterman's ratings.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, he's got a fairly strong approval rating yet. Wow. Okay. That's interesting.
Well, 62% of Democrats who vote, so the people who voted for him don't like him.
Don't like him.
Yeah, it's Republicans. That are holding him up.
Well,
Republicans love him.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and I don't want to say anything negative about Fetterman. I don't know what his deal is.
Well, I don't think it's personally. I'm not saying anything, but the fact that he's flip-flopped on everything.
I was going to say we've seen that happen though with Republicans, right? Who run as Democrats. That was actually a paid operative during like 2022, 2024. There were several Republicans Democrats who would run as Democrats, but then like right after they got elected, they would switch to Republican. And they were doing it at their state level mostly. We didn't really see anybody do it on the national level, but there were several people who did it in the southern states, like in Texas and things.
Well,
so this is where I don't want to say anything bad about Fetterman, because he hasn't done that. But
as far as we know,
but that was a pattern, and that was happening across the country for a short amount of time. There were a couple in Texas who did it, where they actually ran as Democrats, and then they got elected, and they got into the House, and within like a week or two, they switched parties. And so it turned out that there was a Texas newspaper. This was a couple years ago, but there was a Texas newspaper that dug deep into it, and there was actually this paid operative campaign by some group that was doing this. They were recruiting people to run as Democrats, and then they would switch parties as soon as they got elected. And they were paying them and giving their campaign basically the maximum amount of money that they could, and then they were basically buying their candidates.
Wow. There should be some sort of remedy for that.
Right.
It just doesn't.
That was Texas, so there's no remedy for anything in Texas.
It's
That's
Texas.
That is the Wild West down there, literally, as far as politics goes.
Is Democrat Republican though? Like, that's not worked into the actual laws of Congress, though, is it? That's just like how it happened to break
No,
up.
it's just
Yeah.
It would have to be some sort of
it would have
false.
to be regulated by the own party.
Right.
I wonder if you could get a class action suit.
I don't know. Well, and that's why people started digging into it, because some of the because it was a highly Democratic district that they won in, right? Because there are a few of those that still exist in Texas in portions of it.
If you get to a big enough city.
Right? And so that was like the citizens felt duped. They're like, seriously, we voted for you as a Democrat and you do not actually uphold our values at all. So that's why this newspaper started digging into it. But it was short-lived, because I think after that story came out, it pretty much, cover's blown.
Yeah. We got 10 seconds here.
From Lake Superior to Lake Michigan, this is Wisconsin's Morning Conversation. Daybreak with Brian and Jamie.
Thank you so much for joining us this morning on the Civic Media Network. If you're in Madison, listening on WMDX, or in Appleton and Oshkosh on WISS, in Wausau, listening on WXCO. Thank you so much for joining us on this Friday morning. We are expecting some much warmer temperatures today and even warmer tomorrow.
Nice.
High right around 70. This is still a little portion of that fake spring, though, that you like to talk about, Brian, because by next week, back into the 40s.
I don't trust it, but I'll enjoy it. But I know it's not lasting, like many of my past relationships. Anyway, we're glad you're here. Here's what we need to know from you. Is it the government's place to tell you what you can eat, even if you are getting some sort of aid? 855-75-CIVIC, 855-752-4842. Can the government tell you what to eat? Well, let's find out. Wisconsin is trying, because the state will take steps toward barring food share recipients from using benefits to purchase candy and soft drinks under legislation awaiting Governor Evers' signature. The bill passed the Senate with bipartisan support on March 17th. It also provides funding and additional positions requested by Evers' administration to ensure the state is not penalized under new federal requirements implemented under the president's One Big Beautiful Bill last year. This has always bothered me.
Yes.
And we've talked about this before. The fact that the government is going to tell you what you can eat. Now, I get, you could say, all right, no liquor, no tobacco. That's fine. Sure. This is a choice that is being made by adults. Now, for the people who are going to argue, well, they made choices and that's why they need help. That's not true, because we know so many people in this economy and in the country right now, for various reasons, from seniors to families to unemployed people to people with handicaps. A lot more people than you think are using food programs.
Yes,
through
absolutely.
no fault of their own. This is not a shameful thing. And to say, we'll give you something, but you don't have the capacity to make decisions for yourself. So we don't want you treating yourself to a candy bar someday, because, that's not you. You're either giving somebody help or you're not.
Well, and let's be clear. I mean, as you pointed out, let's think about the people who are using the food share benefits. It is families. Sometimes you just don't make enough in a household to make ends meet, so you need a little extra assistance. Small business owners. We are talking farmers. We are talking the elderly. We're talking disabled. So it's not just people who don't want to get out there and get a job, as we continually are told about people using these benefits. John, chiming in over on our text line this morning, listening on WISS, says the simple answer to our question is no. Let a single parent buy their kid a birthday cake. Again, simple diversion from the corruption of the elite. John, of course, answering the question, is it the government's place to tell us what we can eat, even if we're getting aid? If you want to chime into the conversation this morning, 1-855-752-4842. That's 1-855-75-CIVIC. John also adding that it's very dehumanizing, and you can't disagree with that.
No.
And let's also be clear on these actual numbers, okay? Because the average benefit is somewhere around $136 to maybe $188 a month, which, when you look at the price of groceries right now, that's not a lot.
$6 a day.
Right. And so a lot of people are essentially trying to stretch every dollar just so that they can have food on the table. So when the state or even the federal government starts talking about restricting what people can buy, whether that's candy, whether that's soda, even if it's small, it's bigger than that, right? It's
Right.
about choice. It's also about giving these people dignity. And if someone wants to treat their kid, as John rightfully points out, once in a while, then they should be able to do that without the government telling them that they can or they cannot do that.
Yeah, it's one of those things that infantilizes people. You're too dumb, for lack of a better term, because that is how we get treated sometimes by the government, that we're too dumb to make our own decisions.
Right.
And thank God I haven't been in that position, but I can only imagine that if you're in that position, you are watching every penny. The portrait of the welfare mom that we used to hear about is completely false, and it's that same sort of narrative to change the public opinion of these programs and make people say, yeah, we do need to limit what people can buy. We do need to make sure they're trying to work. Well, as Jamie said, these are not people who, most of them, who are not looking for jobs. Some people use these benefits for longer periods. Some, it's a short-term bridge to something else. But either way, if we decide that we have these programs, we have to let people go. And people are smart enough to realize, hey, and kids are disappointed and adults can be disappointed to say, we don't have it this week. We can't get the bag of cookies for your lunch. You're just going to have to eat your sandwich and something else. And next week when the benefits come in, we're short now. People learn to adapt that way. They're not just frivolously going out the first day their benefits come in and buying junk food.
And let me use my mom as an example. My mom is on food share. My mom is in her early 70s. She has congestive heart failure. She has been a widow for 20 years. She has worked her behind off to even be where she's at. She lives right now because of the Social Security she got from my dad. She was a stay-at-home mom with me for multiple years, worked in our family's office. We owned our own companies, never took a salary to do that. She was a hard worker. Then she got congestive heart failure. My dad passed away, and she was forced to make a lot of choices, and we've helped where we absolutely can. Right now, she is living on a Social Security check of $1,200 a month. She is in a rent-assisted building where her rent is $850 a month.
Wow.
That doesn't leave a lot for electricity. That doesn't leave a lot for the medicine she needs to stay alive. That also doesn't leave a lot for her to go buy food, which she also needs. Right. And so she gets a mere, if you're going to be upset about this, she gets a mere $26 a month to help her with her food. Because of $26 because her Social Security income is $1,200, which puts her at a threshold for it being too much because there's all of the government charts and regulations, right? So $26 a month is what the woman gets, and she uses every penny of it that she can to buy her milk, to buy her bread, to buy her eggs, all of those basics. And let me be clear, she has congestive heart failure. So the things that she is able to eat, we have to be very careful with, right? Because it can't have too much sodium. It can't have too much this because it is literally keeping her alive. $26 a month. So $1,226 a month in aid that my mom is getting after working an entire life, raising a family, and being a really great citizen. So no, it is not just people sitting around not wanting to do a job. She is a case scenario of who these benefits are helping every single day.
That's rough. Now, Lynn from Golden Valley, listening on WCFW, says, well, if they only get $100 a month, most people are also paying cash for most of their food. Your control argument makes no sense to me. Sorry. The control argument is why put these limitations on there in the first place? Why, and then you're also putting a burden on the retailers to say, if I go into my local convenience store, what is considered candy? What is considered a soft drink? Is it an energy drink?
Are those going to be all? There's going to be gray areas
is
based
Gatorade.
on sugars and yes.
It's like, okay, we all know alcohol and tobacco that's a no-brainer. No, those you don't need those things. And the argument is you don't need sugary treats or drinks. Technically, no. But the issue at hand is, and what I'm arguing about is that we shouldn't be putting these limits on because it just makes people feel small, and it's already even though we preach that it's not a shameful thing, and we understand there are a lot of people, especially if you've been working and working, now you're laid off and you can't find a job, and you're like, oh, I got to get to. There is a level of shame involved, and now to be even more shamed into saying, well, listen, it's almost like being punished. Well,
yeah,
you didn't do a good job, so now you've got to. Now you got no dessert for you.
Stephen Mount Horeb chiming in, listening on WMDX this morning, says no Easter candy for the kids, a basket full of carrots. And that goes back to the dignity part of it, right? And that's essentially what it is. Now, Evers has championed the approval of some of these resources for the State Department of Health Services. He didn't address the new restrictions, though, on some of the purchases for recipients of the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program. He also said in a statement that over 700,000 Wisconsinites, including 270,000 kids, depend on food share. And with the chaos we're seeing at this federal level, he went on to say that it's critical that we do everything we can to support this program and help kids, families, and seniors across the state. Now, Evers' administration estimated last fall that Trump's sweeping tax and spending law would cost the state $284 million over the span of its enactment, and in August requested nearly $70 million to cover the implementation of these new requirements for the SNAP program.
Another big ask, big money.
Yeah.
Now we're also adding these work requirements to the new regulation. It's costing all these states so much money to make these changes, and the amount of money and amount of asks being thrown around by the federal government make you really wonder if any of these people have gone to a grocery store in the last 20 years, 10 years.
Probably not to do a lot of their own shopping would be my guess.
Because it's all made
administration.
up. It's just crazy made up numbers, and they don't care how much it costs.
I mean, here's the thing. I know what it costs me monthly to feed my family of 3. And I know what I am paying. And my list doesn't really waver. I make a lot of the same things. I buy all the same basics, all the same staples for our household. And I know what it was costing me, 4 or 5 months ago. Right. And I know what I've continually seen the price go up to and how much I am spending now. And let me be clear, I don't buy name brand everything. Some things yes, some things no. I'm fortunate that I don't have to rely on SNAP. But let me tell you, I've also relied on the government for other things when we owned our own damn business because we couldn't make ends meet, making $40,000 a year, raising a family with 2 kids. We couldn't do it. So we had to rely on the Wisconsin state government to help us out, especially for health care. We were lucky enough we never had to do the SNAP benefits. But at the same time, if I know what I'm paying at the store, and I'm barely able to do it right now, I can't imagine what a family who does use these benefits on a daily basis, I can't imagine they're like, oh, let's just load up the cart today with all the chips. No, because you're a parent, you're trying to make the best choices that you can. But if your kid sees that candy bar and they're like, Mom, can I really have this? You want to do everything you can as a parent to let them have that moment, right? And I can't imagine what it is like to go to the store right now when I'm sighing and huffing and puffing using my credit card, right, and what it's like for these parents and these families and these individuals who are using these benefits right now.
Tanya, listening to WMDX here in Madison, says we were talking about how much it's costing the states. She says that's the point. Make these programs hard to run so they fail. It's hard to argue with that. Hard to argue with that. All right, listen. When we come, Parker's about to play the music. He's about to tell us we got to get out of here. Let me ask you this question. And, JB, I want you to think about this, too.
Okay. All right.
Who would you name a highway after in Wisconsin other than Charlie Kirk? Why am I asking you this question? It seems absurd, doesn't it? Well, who would name a highway after Charlie Kirk? We'll explain.
It's 6:48. This is Daybreak on the Civic Media Network. Yes,
A lot
and
of
Alicia,
texting.
yes, Alicia pointing out that she saying that the retailer does not make the determination on what qualifies for purchases of with food share. That is preloaded in the cards. Right. No, and I understand that, but I think that's going to be where the gray area, though, still comes, right? I know it won't be on the retailer, but where is that gray area going to be for what's on the cards? Is it going to be granola bars, protein bars? Are those going to be considered candy bars because you buy them in the same sort of section? So where is that dividing line going to be on these requirements? And do they even care? No.
Right. And is Gatorade a soft drink?
Yeah.
Or is Gatorade something you're buying for your kid because they're dehydrated from having diarrhea?
Right.
It's
right. Exactly. Pam asking, women have always had the government telling us what we can do with our bodies. Yeah, you're not wrong.
Right, but now guys are getting involved. We don't want that.
Right? At some point,
I'm
somebody
teasing.
stay the hell
I'm
out of the
teasing.
way.
Just in case there's anybody.
Yes,
No,
yes,
I
yes.
am not for,
You know, here's the thing I think about with something like Gatorade too, right? I know with my health issues, I've had to drink Gatorade when I've had to go in for all of those tests. You know, like you go in for the stomach test. My doctor actually told me to mix some of my stuff with Gatorade so I stayed dehydrated. And at the same time, it tasted a little better and it was more palatable to get down, right?
Right.
So if you're somebody who has to have a test like that, and you're on government assistance for whether insurance, food, whatever, are you going to be denied buying that Gatorade so you can, do your government you can do your test for your health?
It appears to me that it's one of those things that's more of a knee-jerk proclamation that has no real thought behind it yet.
Right.
Let's make the rule. We'll figure out the specifics down the road because this is a great buzzword. It's big headline. It's it's fighting those people who are sponging off the American taxpayer, and so we can again, just like we do with people of color and immigrants who are undocumented, we can villainize them. So we have a group to blame and hate in order to bolster our case for what we want to do.
Right. And that's what this is all about. That's why we continually, I think I continually say that. This is about cruelty. It's about dehumanizing people and they've been doing it. That's the one thing that I think irks me about this president is he's been so good at it. He's been so good at it. And for somebody who, you can laugh at when he stands at a podium, when you can make fun of the stupid things he says, he's been really good about certain things. And it's all of the things that bring out the worst in us. And that's what I think is most horrifying about what we see.
Yeah, 10 seconds here.
Local news, community stories, and the conversations that matter most. Now, more Daybreak with Brian and Jamie.
6:52 right now. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. A beautiful start to the day. We've got motorcycles down State Street already because, boy, oh boy, it's going to be warm over the next couple of days, and we're going to enjoy every moment of it. Hey, this is your quick reminder before we get into this next story to download that Civic Media app if you don't already have it, or at least get it ready because at 7:06 this morning, you are going to get your text word of the day for the Break into Spring multi-state text to win contest. Remember your chance to win $200 in cash on the daily, or you can qualify for the grand prize as well. But you got to have the Civic Media app ready to roll so that you can possibly text to win some stuff. Ooh. So there you go. That's your little tease. So be ready. Can't say we didn't warn you. It's coming.
And we've been warning you for weeks. So if you're still late to the party, I don't know what to tell you. But I will tell you this, or I will ask you this, rather. 855-75-CIVIC, 855-752-4842. Who would you name a highway after here in Wisconsin instead of Charlie Kirk? And yes, that could actually happen, and we will keep an eye on this story. Washington County is considering a resolution to name a portion of a county road Charlie J. Kirk Way in honor of the late conservative activist. I don't get the martyrdom and the idolization of Charlie Kirk, but that's just me. So an agenda for the county's executive committee meeting lists discussions of a resolution authorizing the name overlay to a portion of County K, as well as discussion of a resolution to make a general fund transfer for highway signs displaying the new name. Charlie Kirk. Do you want to drive down Charlie Kirk Way?
This is just ridiculous to me.
What I left out, Jamie, I'm sorry. I apologize. They're only letting white cars on the road. So,
and this is going to cost $50,000 to do. But, whatever. Just a mere $50,000. I want to take the politics out of this for just a moment because Charlie Kirk is inflammatory, right?
I was going to say, but you can't, when you're talking about Charlie Kirk, I'm interested
hard.
to hear how you're going to take the politics out of Charlie Kirk.
Because here's the thing. No matter how you feel about the guy, he was a podcaster. That's what he was. He was a podcaster who had strong opinions and traveled around the world and tried to get people to agree with him. He was essentially a podcaster. And I'll say it right now, the way he died was tragic. Violence like that is never anything that we should celebrate, and it is not acceptable anywhere ever in any reason. But he was a podcaster. There are a lot of people in this world who have done really great things, right? They've had community impacts. They've done sweeping things to actually help people. He was known for his divisive political stance. Why would we make a road out of him? And here's the thing. Even if you're a Charlie Kirk fan, okay, fine.
Mm-hmm.
That each their own. If you were a Charlie Kirk fan and, somebody wanted to make a road out named after a Democratic podcaster who had also inflammatory things to say on the other end of the spectrum, would you be cool with $50,000 for that? Probably not.
And would you want to see that every day? And for the Washington County executives, are all of your constituents, all the residents of Washington County, fans of Charlie Kirk? This was a man who held no office, really only made an impact on his group of followers. Now, is Turning Point a large, powerful organization? Sure, but there's a lot of people who have founded large, powerful organizations, to Jamie's point. There's a lot of people who did not listen to Charlie Kirk, had no idea who Charlie Kirk was until he was assassinated. So why subject everybody in your county to this daily reminder of the divisiveness in this country? Because what you're doing is driving a wedge between the residents, and we're going to follow up on this, because there's going to be people who think this is the greatest thing, just like Charlie Kirk having a moment of silence after his death. Any death is tragic. We don't see, we don't see this for other people who I believe would be more well-deserving. It used to be you had to be a president or some civic leader who really changed the course of your community to get an honorary, just even an honorary street named after you, not the whole county road renamed for you.
I mean, here's the thing. This floored me reading the draft of the resolution authorizing this name change. Quote, to honor the life and work of Charlie Kirk, which contributed to a broader national dialogue about the importance of protecting freedom of speech, defending constitutional rights, and preserving the values that have long defined the American experiment. He was a podcaster. I mean, I'm going to keep going back to that. Now, there's nothing wrong with being a podcaster. I know several people who do it and do it well.
Yeah, you're talking to one.
Exactly. I don't have any issues with that. But let's not pretend that he did all of these great things for America. He went to colleges and he argued with college students to try to get them to believe what he did, what he believed, so that they weren't. I don't understand this.
Let's not sugarcoat the kind of dialogue that he spouted either.
Right.
Let's not pretend that Charlie Kirk was, he may have wrapped himself in the flag, but if you peeled off that top level, there was a lot of hate and divisiveness under there. And that's not speaking ill of the dead. That's a fact. Go listen to it. It's nothing hard.
We have a lot of people chiming in on the text
Yes.
line. John saying this morning, vote every single one of those county, air quotes, supervisors out who support this. Frank from Poynette listening on MDX this morning saying these people are nuts. Forget about Charlie. Lynn from Golden Valley, the sign will be full of bullet holes within a week. I mean, this is the other thing, too. You're using taxpayer money. And
Right.
not everybody
Yes.
agrees with the point of view of Charlie Kirk. And I think that is the thing that these supervisors are forgetting. You represent, even as a county supervisor, you represent every person in your county, not just a select few who also happen to agree with you. And to ask people to fund a $50,000 road sign, I don't know, bad taste in my mouth.
Every program and every expenditure is going to have critics, but you should be able to argue for the funding in the public good. If you can tell me how this increases the public good in Washington County, I would love to hear it. All right, we got to wrap it up because it's time for the news. And after that, we'll be back with a new word.
Yeah, Pam chiming in on Facebook. Republicans are trying to make him a martyr. They have tried to compare him to MLK. Yeah, I don't get that at all.
Yeah, no.
Oh, yeah.
No, I don't understand the worship of this guy. And his wife is now just grifting
Yes.
like nobody's business.
Right?
Yeah, it's a hustle. All this Christian nationalism is a hustle.
Right.
It's racism wrapped in a flag. That's all it is.
Yeah.
But the Democrats don't know how to fight it.
No, and they're really bad at it.
They're bad at because they want to. It's almost like we have to do, where you have to codify everything. Well, murder is bad. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
you know, I can be against giving them another $200 billion and still want our military strong.
Right. You can have two truths. And that's, I think, the thing that that's why I think everything gets so polarizing right now, especially with certain wings of each party, because they don't believe there can be two truths. It's an either or situation, and that's not reality. Not everything is either or.
No, and once people started using the my truth and your truth labels, that on both sides,
yeah, I have a truth. I also have a truth that, there can be multiple truths all wrapped into one. Crazy how that works.
Yeah, it's odd. It's odd indeed.
Yeah, I don't understand this at all. You can bet, though, that Washington County is going to have a fight on their hands.
Oh, yeah.
I don't see people going lightly on this. Yeah, did you see? We'll hit it in the news headlines, so not to give too much away, but they subpoenaed Comey again.
Oh, God. All right. Well, that makes sense. Bring him back. Let's go.
All the way from 2016, all the things that happened in 2016. Here's a news flash. He helped you win. Why do you hate the guy so badly? He actually helped you win in 2016. Why are we relitigating this?
Because he was mad. He didn't do what the president told him.
10 years ago. Maybe that's it. Maybe we just need to tell Trump that he's living in like 1988 when he was at the peak of his life. I don't know.
Yeah.
He was still bankrupting things, so that's not helpful. But I mean, maybe we need to trot Macaulay Culkin back into the White House so he relives his days as when he was
Somehow
in
I
the
don't
movie.
think Macaulay wants to hang with him either.
Probably not. I'm just trying to figure out who could take one for the team to help the rest of us out. Macaulay is a national treasure. I mean,
Yeah. There's a guy who's bounced back from some
yeah, I love Macaulay Culkin.
hardness.
And then his brother. I mean, his brother's had so much success.
Kieran's great.
Yeah, he's a very good actor.
Yeah, I don't know him personally. Yes, as an actor, he's very good.
I just like him too when he does interviews and when he gets up to give speeches for acceptance or whatever, because he just seems like a real guy. I mean,
Yeah.
I think those kids lived through a thing or two with their families growing up. So
yeah.
I think they've seen a thing or two. I think they've been through a thing or two, and it's obviously anytime you do that, it shapes who you are. So.
Well, if you watch that John Candy documentary,
that
what
was
Macaulay
great.
Culkin said about him was,
Yeah.
Macaulay was having a rough time.
Yeah. No, that's a great documentary. For anybody on the live stream, if you haven't watched it, please do. It was like the one documentary on Documentary Saturday I could get behind.
Yeah, it was really good.
Because, yes, Documentary Saturday in our house is a thing. I said,
You don't seem thrilled.
It depends on the documentary. I've watched some really bad ones thanks to my husband's choices. And then he's all enthralled, and I'm playing on my phone or laptop, depending on how tired I am. And he'll be like, "Don't you think this is great?" Actually, no. Which is why I'm doing something else while you're watching. So
Is there a specific type, true crime or
no,
cults or
whatever strikes him at the moment, he's down for. So we've watched everything from out nature documentaries to the making of game shows. His favorite documentary that he pulls out all the time is when Pressure Luck was on the air and that guy sat at home and learned how to game the system.
I haven't watched that one. I want to see it. Every time I see the preview, I'm like, "Oh, I want to watch this one."
It's fascinating. That's one that I actually can get behind as well. But yeah, whatever strikes him in that moment is what we watch. I see you're going to tell me 15 seconds.
No, I was going to tell you 10 seconds.
Why don't you tell me 1 second?
Wisconsin wakes up here. Back to Daybreak with Brian and Jamie.
7:06 right now. Thank you so much for joining us this morning on the Civic Media Network. Hey, Brian, it is time. It's time to hopefully make somebody a winner and get them qualified for that big grand prize. It's the Break into Spring Text to Win multi-state contest, and of course our word of the day. I'll let you do the honors.
All right, well, thank you. The word for this hour, so from now until 8 o'clock, text the word thaw. THAW, thaw is the word for now. Text using the Civic Media app. You should have downloaded it already. We warned you. So you have an hour. And after 8 o'clock, that will stop, and then later in the day, there will be more words. Can I enter more than once, Brian? Yes, of course. Why not? So enter for your chance to win $200 today, and then the grand prize, Jamie. I love what you describe it so well.
We are talking about a new mattress set from Verlo, over $1,300 value. You get the Queen V3 Plush mattress, a set of tensile sheets, the mattress protector, and 2 Active Dough queen-size pillows because, of course, if we're going to give you the mattress, we got to outfit you with the entire good night's sleep. So we are going to do that courtesy of Verlo. But again, you got to text us the word thaw. Look at all these people coming in. Judy, Lynn, Mark, thank you so much. Thaw is your word for this hour, THAW. Use your Civic Media app. Now, we got a quick talk about some headlines here because some things that you might have missed yesterday. We'll start with the big news, should we, from Governor Evers?
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm so excited about this. This is such a good one for women across the state because the governor did sign Gale's law to expand breast cancer screenings throughout the state of Wisconsin. The law requires insurance to cover additional tests like MRIs and ultrasounds, especially for women with dense breast tissue. It aims to catch cancer earlier and improve survival rates as about 6,000 women are diagnosed each year. The change also removes cost barriers so more women can get the screenings they need. Thank you, GOP, for finally bringing this to the floor and doing some good for the women of Wisconsin.
And in case your calendar says 2026, it's probably wrong because it's obviously 2016 because former FBI Director James Comey has been subpoenaed in a wide-ranging federal investigation tied to the 2016 election and cases involving President Trump. He did win that election, correct?
He did, as far as I know.
With
Yes.
Comey's help,
Yes. Yes.
Okay, just checking. The probe, led by a Trump-appointed prosecutor in Florida, has already issued more than 130 subpoenas. For what? Officials are examining whether any actions tied to that period fall within legal time limits to pursue.
And then finally, in news headlines, I know. It's the weird, wacky world we live in. We're going to constantly go back in time. In other news headlines this morning, Senator Markwayne Mullin's nomination for Homeland Security Secretary narrowly passed committee in an 8-7 vote. Republican Senator Rand Paul voted against him. So our good friend John Fetterman from Pennsylvania decided to support the nomination, and it was key in moving it forward. The vote came after a very tense hearing. Mullin's nomination now heads to the full Senate, where he is expected to be confirmed.
Yeah.
And, of course, a few things that you just might have missed before we get into some of the bigger news of the day, of the week, whatever.
Yeah, John Fetterman said Mark Wayne was a solid dude that he had worked closely with. So we'll see how solid.
If you joined us earlier, Parker did a little digging for us. I said I didn't know what the polling for Fetterman was. It turns out that in the great state of Pennsylvania, about 46% of people still support him. 40% of people disapprove him. This is according to a Quinnipiac poll that just came out this week.
What about Democrats?
Well, it turns out not so much. 62% of Republicans actually support John Fetterman.
Are there numbers for Democrats? I think there were.
There were somewhere in there. I got to scroll up. Everybody's texting so
I want to say it was about
73%
of Democrats do not.
Yes, I'm sorry.
Or 62% of Republicans or Democrats disapprove.
Yes,
73% approve of Republicans approve.
Yes.
So Republicans love a good turncoat. Democrats are a little upset with the guy they thought was a Democrat and then voted him in, and he's not.
Yeah.
All right. Should conservation be a partisan issue? Should your outdoors come down to bickering amongst political parties? 855-75-CIVIC, 855-752-4842. Well, the Wisconsin Senate, which you know has punched out for the year, did not take a vote to renew the Knowles Nelson Stewardship Program during their session. That likely means that the program is going to expire in June after nearly 4 decades in place. This is, Jamie, you know this. We talked about it, I think it was last week or the week before. This is a program that has had not only bipartisan support, but pretty much universal support amongst voters in Wisconsin, and yet we're not going to talk about it. Let it go.
I think this is really frustrating because this feels like the kind of issue that we should get right as a state, and our legislators should be able to get state, because this has been a program since 1989. So this has been about protecting land, the Knowles Nelson program, that is, and it's also been a big supporter of the state's economy, tourism, outdoor recreation, hunting, fishing. Those are all real drivers of local jobs and local businesses all across the state. So at this point, you would think that this would be something that we could champion and we could get behind. I don't know. I like a good local, strong economy. I don't know what the Republicans think, but I certainly do. I know
that's
the voters
what I
do.
don't understand. Now the Republicans said they couldn't see a path forward to fund this, but how do you not drive around the state? Once you get outside of Madison, Milwaukee, and Green Bay, there's nothing but beautiful hills, state parks. It should be a no-brainer, especially when all your constituents are for it. This is another one of those where you just scratch your head and say, all right, everybody wants this. What's the holdup? What are you going to hold hostage? Well, they've decided to hold this hostage, and I think they may have made a miscalculation on how upset people will get when they finally realize what the impact is going to be if this program goes away.
Well, yes. And here's the thing that I think everybody needs to keep in mind. This is not just a Democratic issue. This is supported widely by Republican, Independent, and Democratic voters. So this feels like a major misstep on the GOP's part. And in case you're wondering where the hangup is, some of these disputes amongst the parties really center on state land purchases, the conservation limits, and the legislative oversight. Of course, Republicans want more control and stricter rules on how the land is bought and managed, which I think is interesting, especially when you look at what's happening at the federal level.
Right.
The federal government is also trying to purchase national lands for development or use to not just be national lands for us to visit anymore. So they want it for some sort of economic purpose to build for big business. So is this the same type of pattern that the Wisconsin GOP has in their minds? Because that doesn't work for all of us. We like our space. We like to be outdoors. We like to use the land that we were given.
But Jamie, how many data centers can we put in a state park? Let's
not many, it turns out. There's a few rules and regulations that prohibit that.
Not if we buy the land.
This is
not if the land is up for sale and not being preserved. We can do then whatever we want.
This morning. You are absolutely correct. And I do stand corrected.
I somehow think a little more diabolical than you, which is good. It's good to have an optimistic brain and a nice. But that's the thing. All of this open land, and it was infuriating when it was first brought up and still being considered, like you said, with the federal government and the national park system. But in this state where, and again, I know we've said it, but the amount of money that comes into this economy because of outdoor recreation and because of the open land and the open spaces, everything is not for sale.
Right.
Everything is, but everything shouldn't be. And I guess but how do you justify it as a legislator to say, I know all my constituents want this. I know most of the other representatives in my party want this. I don't want this. And so instead of working for the greater good, you're working for whatever narrow interests you have or whoever's whispering in your ear, lobbyists, PACs, whatever, and you're doing that. It's going to be interesting to watch as the elections come up, how big an issue this becomes between the candidates. Where do you think it's going to fall, and how do you think some of the Republican candidates may justify their allowing this program to lapse?
I think about that, and then I also think about the fact, and I wish I could answer that. I don't know. I've seen Republican candidates turn themselves into pretzels trying to come up with answers for questions that they're asked on multiple issues. Sure. So I wish I actually had an answer for that, and I had my crystal ball available to see how that was going to look. But I think this also sends a bigger message to all of us that if this is a longstanding supported program that all political sides can agree on, and it can't get across the finish line, then where do we stand in this state? And what can we get across the finish line? I mean, I even think about a couple of bills, right, this week that Governor Evers signed for women's health. When we talk about the postpartum bill, when we talk about the breast cancer bill that we just mentioned in the headlines, think of how long that took this state. Women's health, 5 years, those were tied up in this Congress. And I think about how long that it took to get something so simple to protect women, to protect the health of women and individuals. So, I mean, if we can't even agree on that, if we can't agree on a bipartisan issue like land conservation, then where do we essentially stand as a state, as a community, and if you want to really expand your broad, as a country as a whole? Because these things to me should be require absolutely no thought. That should be an easy win in any house, in any assembly, any Senate, anywhere across the country.
Well, and there is a chance that the Senate will come back for a special session. Nothing is guaranteed. The governor, of course, saying he hopes an agreement can be reached because it did fly right through the assembly. The assembly voted for it. They approved it. And so if you're upset by this, talk to your state senators. They're the ones who are going to make the decision, and urge them to come back for a special session and make sure that this does not expire before June. So it's I don't know too many people who live in Wisconsin that don't take advantage of the outdoor spaces.
I mean, and think about it. This is something that funds public land access. It funds trails, boat launches, conservation projects. If you love a specific trail and you love to hike on it, it's probably getting money from the Knowles Nelson Project. I mean, we are talking parks. We're talking the access to the public lands. Essentially, it's things that get us outside, and a lot of us are going to partake in throughout the entire season. And it's also what brings other people here to support our local economies. We've talked about it on this program this week, right? That the fact that the snowmobile trails are open in the Northwoods because of all of the snow that we've gotten, and this is an extended period for the businesses up there, and how exciting that must be for those resorts and restaurants. And then you think of something like the Knowles Nelson, which can help usher in that type of business. What happens? What happens to those local economies? This is easy. This is easy stuff.
Yeah, the trails get overgrown. Nobody comes. The restaurants go under. It's all part of the bigger plan. There is no plan. There is no plan, and that's the problem. One thing I think, Jamie, we can all agree on is pop culture is kind of dumb. But it's interesting and it's fun, and there's a lot of stupidity. And what doesn't cost anything is swipe or stay, and we're going to play that next on Daybreak. I'm Brian Noonan.
I'm Jamie Martinson. It's 7:19 right now. Happy Friday. You are listening to the Civic Media Network. Alicia pointing out absolutely nothing in our government should be partisan. That is correct.
Well, yes,
in
Alicia is in your camp, Jamie. A little more optimistic than I am, and clinging to the what should be.
Oh, I did say I'm not real. Realistic and optimistic are two different things.
True. Oh, true. True.
And I could be, just like there's always truth in both areas, I could be realistic and optimistic all at the same time. See where we're at and hope for something better down the road.
Frank, is this a bedroom that you're going to be in? Is this going to be your office?
It's going to be my office / video game room / guest room.
Well, you just got relegated completely to the basement.
And I am
your crap and get
so
downstairs.
happy.
It's nice.
I couldn't be
Is it a
happier.
basement? Did you?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, nice. That's the best.
When's the guitar come back?
Oh, it's already here.
Oh, good. Good.
Maybe you could do a musical swipe or stay.
Love it. Look at you with your little card table.
Wow.
Then couch comes today. Actually,
That's
2
exciting.
couches come today.
Ooh.
So if worse comes to worse, you could sleep on a couch instead of an air mattress tonight.
No, because we get to sleep at the other place tonight.
Ah. Oh, because everybody will be there tomorrow to move it all out.
Correct.
Oh, right.
At least
We're in
it's
the
supposed
home
to be
stretch.
nice. At least it's not going to be like one of those weird March blizzard days.
No, you
like,
get a nice day
weather.
to move.
Thank
Have you
God.
ever done that? Have you ever moved in like a rainstorm or like a snowstorm? Oh.
Rain, last move.
We did it in
No,
a snowstorm.
thank you.
We were moving. It was South Dakota, and we were moving in May. And South Dakota got a freak end of the year, like end of spring blizzard.
In May?
It dumped. Oh yeah. And it dumped like 10 inches of snow in like a day. And it was that heavy wet stuff.
10
Nope.
seconds.
Let's break out of the bubble and see what's happening out there in pop culture. It's Swipe or Stay on Daybreak.
7:22 right now. Thank you for joining us on this Friday morning. We are looking for a beautiful weekend in the state of Wisconsin. You joined us last segment talking about the Knowles Nelson program. Well, get outside and enjoy some land this weekend because you're going to have plenty of opportunity. But no more politics. We can't talk about that. We want to talk about some pop culture, which is equally as exciting and not politics. So our producer Frank joins us for Swipe or Stay. Good morning. How are you today?
I'm doing well. We've got some good stories. I'm not going to lie.
All right, then let's.
I think there's going to be a lot of staying going on.
All right. We're excited.
All right. Popular show has pulled the plug. Can we stay? Thank you.
Yeah, I know this story. We got to stay anyway.
All right. So we talked about this. Was it yesterday or 2 days ago?
2 days ago, I think.
2 days ago.
Yeah.
The Bachelorette has officially canceled its upcoming season. This comes after a video release of Taylor Frankie Paul in a physical altercation with her ex, Dakota Mortensen. ABC said, in light of the newly released video just surfaced today, we have made the decision to not move forward with the new season of The Bachelorette at this time, and our focus is supporting the family. So when we talked about this the other day, I said how people were pulling endorsements from Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, where she appeared on before. They stopped filming. They didn't want to do it during these allegations. And we said, well, ABC's still holding on, and they still plan to air The Bachelorette first episode on Sunday. Brian, you saw the video.
I saw the video. This woman is, and I'm sorry, prove me wrong, she's nuts. This video, and you shouldn't judge a person by their worst moment. This has got to be one of her top worst moments. When you throw a metal stool in at your boyfriend, knowing your 5-year-old kid is sitting right next to him, and the stool, according to reports, ends up hitting the kid. You got something going on upstairs, and this was not the first time. Yeah. There are issues. And again, I didn't even know who this woman was until I started seeing headlines about it. I saw that she was the Bachelorette. I've never seen the show, but I was like, who is this woman? And now I know, and I'm like, whoo.
Yeah, and she's had a history of some things. We'll say.
And it's really not a story I usually gravitate to for these kinds of things, especially with like a reality star kind of deal.
Right. But man, it includes swinging, alcoholism, domestic abuse. It's got all the great tenets of a story, as long as you're not the one having to live it.
Yeah, and I feel like this is one of those things that somebody should dive deeper into, especially since this is something that's happening. And I don't want to disparage any sort of religious group, but this is happening in the Mormon culture, which is, I think, even more intriguing, and why I think this has become such a story, because they're not really known for these things, right? Like, these are not things that you would normally associate with the Mormon culture, which I think is interesting.
All right,
I watched Big Love. I never saw any of this.
We're swiping on now. Dolly Parton's terrible habit led to Disney's special.
Oh, stay.
Wow.
I love Dolly.
I know, but a terrible habit? I'll stay. What is Dolly doing?
So a lot of people like Brian are very excited for the Hannah Montana 20th anniversary special.
You know it.
But it turns out that it was not Disney's idea. In a recent interview, Miley Cyrus said she picked up a terrible habit from her godmother, Dolly Parton, who said, if you want something to happen, start promoting it like it already exists. Miley said, so I just started promoting a Hannah Montana 20th anniversary special that literally did not exist.
That's hilarious.
She started teasing it on her socials that this is happening and it's coming. Disney had no idea about it.
Oh, well.
Well, now they do.
They do now.
All right, good for
She
Dolly.
forced her hand. I know Brian's excited. This is going to release on Disney Plus on March 24th.
That was the very first concert Molly went to. I didn't have to take her. Debbie did to see the Hannah Montana concert.
Wow.
You can't bring it up to my wife. I brought it up the other day. It was a concert she didn't get to go to. She said it was the biggest miss of her life.
Oh. Well, there might be another tour. I mean,
now you can watch it on the big.
I was told if there is a Hannah Montana reunion tour to just not look at our bank account. So,
yikes! All right,
we have a famous rapper that won a lawsuit over his local law enforcement. Brian knows what it is.
I do, but I only saw the headline. I'm staying.
Stay.
Parker, how much time do I have?
2 minutes.
Okay.
Oh, that's tons of time.
So Parker's favorite rapper, Afro Man, has won a defamation case against local police officers. I'm going to play a little bit of the
Please
song.
do. Give us some.
Adams County Sheriff kicked down my door. Then I heard the glass break. They found no kidnapping victims, just some lemon pound cake.
So this song was set to a music video, which is his actual security camera footage of the cops breaking into his place on suspicion of drug trafficking.
Wow.
And kidnapping. They found nothing, and Afro Man wasn't in the house. This was a couple years ago. So he took the footage, of which you see an officer do a double take on the lemon pound cake sitting on the kitchen counter, and decided to make a song and music video out of that. The deputies were seeking $4 million, and Afro Man had just won.
Holy cow!
Afro
$4
Man
million?
That's crazy.
They wanted $4 million.
Afro Man puts on a great concert, by the way.
You went to an Afro Man concert?
When did you go see Afro Man?
He was in the Twin Cities when we lived there. It was outside, grassy knolls. It was super
Shut
fun.
up.
Oh, no, it was fun. It was a great show. We had
I'm
a
guessing it was a
blast.
free show. Was it a free show?
No, it's cheap tickets, though.
Okay,
Very cheap
okay.
tickets.
Wow.
Would you go see Afro Man for anything more than like 15, 20 bucks? No, probably
I'd
not.
go.
Frank,
It was a great
another
show.
stellar edition of
Thank
Swiper Stay. The week was wonderful. Hopefully, there will be some more crazy pop culture stories for next week.
I'm sure.
I'm sure there will be. All right, when we come back, reading. It's fundamental, especially now in Sauk County.
7:29
Daybreak.
right now on the Civic Media Network.
All right.
Sorry, that was a bad delay there during that segment.
Yeah, you glitched a couple times, but only for a second, Frank.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Lovely. All right, let me
Get
since we
those
have
Xfinity guys back at the house.
dude.
Seems like a sore subject.
I didn't get to play this because we ran out of time, but since we have a little bit of time, this is from the case.
What they did, searching your house, gave you the right to do everything you've
Under
done.
the circumstance that I got freedom of speech, after they run around my house with guns and kick down my door, I got the right to kick a can in my backyard, use my freedom of speech, turn my bad times into a good time. Yes, I do. And I think I'm a sport for doing so, because I don't go to their house, kick down their doors, flip them off on their surveillance cameras, then try to play the victim and sue them.
Wow.
Right on.
It's got
All
a
right.
point.
Hey,
Take a bad time, make it a good time. What's up?
I love
Mark
it.
from Prairie du Sac saying, Dolly's great. It's my understanding for the song 9 to 5. She just sat down and banged it out. Yeah, that's what I've heard as well. They didn't give that one much thought. She just kind of did her thing.
And it's still, everybody can still sing it.
Every time I see that there's a celebrity death, I just hope it's not going to be Dolly Parton. Because I know she's getting older. And
Yeah,
Yeah, and she had some health stuff recently.
she's had
health
some health
scares
stuff.
and-
And can you imagine? She is. There's very few people across the pop culture spectrum that most people like, right? There just isn't.
Right.
And she seems to be one of them. I mean, Jolene's one of my favorite songs. That's a great song.
It's a great song.
Not Beyonce's version.
Have you ever been to Dollywood?
No, but Corey actually went down there when he was doing a work trip, and he's like, it was crazy. He's like, it was pretty cool.
It was so much fun. It's a great amusement park. Very clean, very wholesome feeling. Gatlinburg is very touristy, but that area is so beautiful.
I hear the food's really good.
At Dollywood?
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember. Yeah,
Guess not.
No, I mean, it wasn't.
If you didn't remember it,
Yeah.
it wasn't worth it.
I remember the rides. I remember the eagle habitat. I remember there's a picture of me falling asleep on a Ferris wheel. So
That
it was
exciting, huh?
Yeah, well, Ferris wheels are stop. No,
Yeah.
Ferris wheels are boring. And so
Lame.
Debbie and Molly turned around and looked, and I was sitting in the car all by myself, the little gondola, and
That's
I
funny.
was sound asleep.
Gary saying that Jordan on The Daily Show last night covered the Afro-Man lawsuit court testimony. One of the funniest comedy in recent weeks.
Dude, you got to watch the whole video.
He's a sport.
You have to watch
I gotta see
the
that.
cop do the double take of the pound cake. It's so
That's
funny.
so funny. Do we have Rowan coming?
I was just going to say.
Oh, Frank, I watched the Spider-Man trailer yesterday.
It looks good, right?
I can't wait. Oh, man. Is that Dr. Octopus?
Hold on. Let me...
Oh, get our guest. That's probably more important.
Let me do my job first. It really got me thinking if it's Dr. Octopus.
No, I don't think it is.
In that one scene where I don't know.
There's so much going on. There's a scene where he's attacking like a bunch of people, and it's like the No Way Home trailer where it looks like there's somebody that's supposed to be fighting alongside him, and they just took them out. So now everyone's speculating who it could be. So it could be either Miles Morales, it could be Sadie Sink's character, who it's probably going to be Jean Grey, so they're going to introduce the X-Men.
Right.
There's a lot going on for you Marvel nerds.
I like that the Punisher is in there.
And the Punisher. And the Hulk.
And Jennifer Jones? Yeah.
Yes.
Was one of the Defenders. Jessica Jones.
Jessica Jones, that's it.
Jessica Jones. I loved all those. Well, not all of them, but I liked Jessica Jones,
15.
the show, and
10.
All right, I will keep you updated.
Okay.
Oh yeah. Well, we'll just start talking about
it. Local voices, statewide impact. It's Daybreak with Brian and Jamie.
7:35 right now. Thank you so much for joining us this morning on the Civic Media Network. Happy Friday. Looking for some much warmer temperatures as we go through today and into tomorrow. So hopefully you're going to get a chance to go outside and enjoy those just a little bit. In the meantime, Brian, we've got to try to give away some stuff here this morning.
I'll be honest, Jamie, $200 going into the weekend would make my weekend a little sweeter. Now, unfortunately, I am not eligible to win in the multi-state, the Break Into Spring multi-state text-to-win contest, where we're giving away $200 every day and then qualifying you to win a $1,300, more than $1,300 Queen mattress package. Those all sound good to me, but in order to enter, you must text to win. And Jamie, we have a very fitting word for this weekend.
We do. I love this. Now, these words are predetermined weeks in advance, so I think that it's only fitting that this one came up today.
Yes.
Your word today is thaw. T-H-A-W. T-H-A-W. That is the word you need to text us before 8 a.m. so that you can qualify for $200 in cash or that Verlo mattress set. So make sure you get us that word using your Civic Media app this morning. Yes.
What's that word again?
Thaw. T-H-A-W. What I'm watching the snow piles outside my big windows here at the studio do right now. This is the point of the time where you can kind of watch them in real time, right?
Yeah. And you can see, the more water you see on the sidewalk, the more you know things are thawing. It's great. Don't forget, listen all day because the word changes throughout the day. You can enter more than once if you'd like to. And again, we've already given away 4 days worth of, that's 2 times 4, $800 so far. And the contest goes all next week as well. So make sure you are entering. Make sure you're getting in on that chance to win not only the $200 daily giveaway, but the big mattress grand prize. It is the spring or the text into spring. Break into spring.
Yes.
I
text
get
to
spring
win,
break.
Multi-state. That's all you really need to know. Spring break would be good, though. We could all use a spring break. We could use a spring break from whatever is happening in the news. That's for sure. But
this
we
is
have some
good news.
stuff to talk about.
This is I remember as a kid. Now I'm old and I start to read and I fall asleep. But I was a voracious reader from the time I could. I loved reading. I would sit, I'd get in trouble because I'd take a book into the bathroom and I'd be reading and reading and reading. And yes, Parker, just reading regular books. Or I'd sit in the bathtub and I'd read. I'm like, in 6th grade, I'm reading an entire book in the bathtub.
Yes.
I don't know. I had cucumbers on my eyes and a mud pack. The whole thing. It was a spa day for me.
How could you see the book?
Huh?
How could you see the book?
You slice very thin.
Wow.
So that everything has
really
it has a green tint, but isn't that more relaxing than a bright white page?
Green is supposed to be one of the most soothing colors is to all of us. So there you go.
So now that you've pictured me as a young boy bathing with cucumbers on his eyes, why are we bringing this up? Because the Madison Reading Project is expanding into Sauk County, starting with early literacy programs, and it also kind of ties back to what we were talking about with Miley Cyrus and Hannah Montana and our good friend Dolly Parton. So this is great news, Jamie, this reading. I think anything that promotes reading is worthwhile. It's worth the effort, and it's worth the contributions.
I gotta say, I was also a reader as a kid. Do you remember the weekly reader the Book It program in schools? Oh, where you
weekly
could earn
reader
the pizza.
was fantastic.
Weekly reader, the Book It program where you earn pizzas for reading books. Oh, I earned so many personal pan pizzas.
I can only imagine how many pizzas. You're still probably cashing those in, aren't you?
I loved to read, but like you, time has caught up with me. So now every time I open a book, I fall asleep by paragraph 1.
It's so hard.
It is really hard. But here's the thing. Books were such an escape for me as a kid, right? Because you got to go into all these worlds, you got to learn things, and I just absolutely loved reading. And one of my favorite things yet to do is go into a library. I know that makes me sound super nerdy, but I will find the most comfy chair, I will grab a book, and I will sit down. It's funny, my kids were always homeschooled, and they also loved the library. But unlike kids who went to a traditional school setting, my kids would get a book off the library shelf, and then they would just plop down wherever they were at because that's what they could do at home, right? And so I'd be like, no, guys, you got to go over to these beanbag chairs over here. But they loved being in the library. They absolutely did. And so when it comes to this reading project, this is an organization, Brian, that's been serving kids since 2014. And it grew from a single site to reaching kids from birth to age 18 all across Dane County. And if you don't know what they are an organization that focuses on getting free books and literacy resources directly into communities so that they can build a love of reading early. I read to my kids. I'm going to assume that you and Debbie probably read to Molly very early on.
We did, and Debbie's grandma used to come down because I was on the road at that time, and she read to Molly, and Molly became entranced with books. And I'm sure that's what happened with myself, where my mom and my grandparents would read to me, and I saw so many kids who came into school whose parents or siblings or just at daycare, wherever, people read to them, and they wanted to read. And then you could tell, unfortunately, the other kids who hadn't really been exposed to books, and I don't say this as a joke, sometimes they weren't even sure how to open a book.
Right.
And you'd be in kindergarten, and that's really sad for so many reasons. But this I had not heard of the Madison Reading Project, and now I'm 100% in.
It's really cool. So their expansion will launch with Dolly Parton's Imagination Library, offering free monthly books to children between the ages of 0 to 5. Now, I had my kids enrolled in the Imagination Library, and they
explain what that is for people who don't know.
It's literally you sign up, it's free, and you can do so by going over to the Madison Reading Project and their website, in case anybody's wondering. We'll give this to you a few times, MadisonReadingProject.com. And right at the very top, there is a tab that you can click that says Imagination Library. You literally sign up with your kids' names. This is a long time ago, so maybe some of the sign up has changed, but I literally had to put my kids' names in there, their date of birth, because they want to confirm that they're under a certain age, right? And then every month in your mailbox, you get a free book for your kid. That's it. That's all you have to do. And we're talking good books. We're not talking stuff nobody's heard of.
Right.
We had like the little engine that could, right? We had the little engine that could. We had the whole line of the Pigeon books, like Pigeon drives. Yes.
Who is with Pigeon? Who's Pigeon's pal? Duck and Pigeon? I want to say duck and pigeon, but that's not right.
It's like a chick or something. I can't remember.
Yeah.
It's been a really long time, but it's such a great line of books. The if you give a mouse a cookie kind of books. So that's all you literally have to do. And the books come to your house until your child, because you put their birth date in. So those books will come to your house until they hit that age of 5. And that's it. That's all you have to do. One book a month. And it's so cool. So thank you to Dolly Parton, because she's had that program for a really long time. And
so
families,
let me just jump in for a sec. I am looking at that registration. And again, Madison Reading Project.com is the website. It started in Dane County, but now they have expanded to Sauk County. So if you live in Dane or Sauk County and you have a young child and you want to read to them for free, you'd be silly not to go in and sign up. It's,
like if you have a newborn with this Imagination Library through Dolly Parton and the Madison Reading Project, and you have a newborn and you enroll today, you're going to get 60 books in your kid's first 5 years of life, because that's one book per month, doing the math.
And the funny thing is, kids will keep reading the same books, especially because at first they're not reading, you're reading to them. But as they get to that 5-year-old and even beyond, they'll still read those books. And the books are age appropriate. The books are, like Jamie said, are really good.
I got to ask our listeners, did you have a favorite book as a kid, or one that you just had to read your own kids? Because for me, it was a carryover of the corduroy books. I started those in 3rd grade. I had the most incredible 3rd grade teacher, Mrs. Connie Parrish, and she encouraged each of us every single day to use our imaginations and to write. She had beanbag chairs in her classroom. She had a whole writing lab, and she had this little stuffed corduroy. And we took turns taking corduroy home every weekend, because it was our responsibility to keep corduroy healthy, clean, and safe. And she just instilled this great love of reading and imagination in all of us. And so when I was old enough and I had my boys, corduroy became a major part of what we did. Chris chiming in over on our text line this morning. I signed my granddaughters up as soon as they were born. We're talking about the Imagination Library. They both love checking the mail for their new books. Great program. Thank you for that text this morning, Chris.
It is a great program.
Yeah. 1-855-752-4842. 1-855-75-CIVIC if you want to chime in with comments about the Imagination Library, your favorite book as a kid, your kids' favorite books, because reading, there's nothing like books.
No.
I love
and
books.
I'm trying to remember, like for me, being a kid was a long time ago. But I do remember reading, like, Treasure Island was a great one.
Yeah.
Philip and the Puka, that's an Irish tale that I read a lot. But in our house growing up, it was Junie B. Jones.
Oh,
Junie B. Jones
Love Junie B.
was
Jones.
just great. And I liked reading them to Molly because they were funny.
Yes.
And then when she was even smaller, it was the Sandra Boynton books.
Oh,
the hard cardboard books with the all the animals and stuff. Those were always a huge hit.
I also loved the Judy Blume books growing up.
Okay.
Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret. Hello, that's a classic for a young kid, especially young girls. She also had like Tale of the Fourth Grade Nothing and Super Fudge and all of that. So I loved when I got into chapter books. Judy Blume was always one of my favorites. But about 3,500 children in Sauk County are expected to be eligible for this enrollment. And in Dane County alone, Brian, more than 13,500 kids already receive books through the program each month. Alicia chiming in. Chronicles of Narnia were her favorite books. Yes. And she also says that her kids loved Junie B. Jones when they were little, and they loved Beatrix Potter and Dr. Seuss.
Oh, Dr.
as well.
Seuss. Yeah,
Yes.
Dr. Seuss.
Can't go wrong with any of those.
That's like the OG. You got to like Dr. Seuss. And if you're wondering where the money comes from for the Madison Reading Project and this expansion, it's funded by the Roots and Wings Foundation, and it's funded for the next 5 years. And again, MadisonReadingProject.com. Sign your kids up. And that's because, let's be honest, yes, you could go to the library, but some people don't have a library close to them, or it's a hassle. And books are expensive. Even
Yes.
kids' books, you go, what, for a
Even
kid's
the
book?
audio versions or the
Yes.
like now the ones that you're supposed to get on your Kindle. And by the way, I don't know how you feel, but I am a book in the hand person.
Yeah, I'm not
I
a
hate
Kindle.
Kindles. I love a book
Debbie
in
and
the hand.
Molly love them. I hate
I
them.
love pages. I love to be able to flip pages down. I love to be able to make notes. I love to be able to highlight things. So I am very much a book in the hands person. And here's what I'm going to say too. This is a huge step for Sauk County. Somebody who lived in the area, owned a small business in the area. The area is fantastic. The people are great. But like every other area, there's a lot of people who are really struggling financially. And there's a lot of kids who get left behind because of the finances and some of the economics of the county. So the fact that this is expanding into Sauk County for these kiddos, it is... yeah, I'm always going to be about that. Anytime you can give back to the kids and make sure that they're getting what they need, I think that's great.
Megan texts in from Sun Prairie. My son just turned 5, and we are so sad to not get Dolly's books anymore, but so happy we had them for 5 years. Yeah, this is... Now, we were talking about who should get a street named after them. I think every town should have a Dolly Parton street named after them.
Absolutely.
You know why? Because your kids can read it because of Dolly. That's why
right.
you give her that.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Hey, you want to talk about struggle, Jamie? Stay tuned because we're having a spelling bee.
We are. Yeah,
Okay.
we are. We're going to have a spelling bee. It's 7:48 right now. This is Daybreak on the Civic Media Network.
Now look at all the engagement we got on that little conversation.
know.
Look at that.
Look at that.
Alicia also chiming in saying mobile libraries are great. Oh, there was nothing like the
bookmobiles.
bookmobiles. Oh,
bookmobiles.
I was
I
more.
love the bookmobile.
I don't know if you guys will know this and not be surprised at all, but I was always more excited when the bookmobile showed up than the ice cream truck.
Wow. I, for one, am shocked.
Wow.
That was the nerdiest thing you've... That was a whole new level of nerd.
Oh, I would be so
Wow.
excited. I was always so excited.
We were so lucky. The bookmobile stop was literally right outside our house. So I didn't even have to take Molly anywhere. I'd walk out, stand on the porch, and she'd run into the bookmobile. I was like, oh, this is perfect. Thank you.
love that.
If it had pulled into my driveway, it wouldn't have been more convenient.
No.
Question for you guys.
Sir.
Our guest had a time mix-up. Is there anywhere in the 8 o'clock we can fit her in for a couple minutes?
We just talked about it for 14 minutes.
I understand that.
Tell them
what
I would. All right, here's my input. I'm only one vote. I would say we'll send you the link to what they talked about, and if any, keep us apprised of any new programs, and we would, we will definitely have you on. But for this, we talked about it at length and couldn't have talked about it in more glowing terms.
That's what I figured. Just wanted to double check.
Dick and Madison
Oh,
says...
Curious George.
George and the man in the yellow hat.
George and the man in the yellow hat. So did Max.
Do we want to take that as a call, or should we just
No,
move
we got
to-
Spelling bee.
No,
Spelling
okay.
bee. We can just mention it. Tell Dick we will mention it, but
Yes.
thank him for his call.
Max started reading when he was 2, literally was reading at 2. So obviously we went through a lot of books in our house.
See, and I thought Debbie was. She always. It's now a point of mockery in the family.
Oh, yeah.
Debbie always says, "I started reading when I was 3."
No, Dexter was 2, or Max was 2. I started reading at about 2.5. Corey also read right around 2.5. And Dexter could read, but nobody
How do you
thought he
even
could.
remember? How do people remember that? Do you remember reading it when you were 2?
I do remember reading it like 2 and 3. Yes.
You remember being 2 and 3?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I'd sit with my mom and read.
I don't remember yesterday.
I don't
remember anything now, but those are memories ingrained in my brain.
See, and I'm trying to remember like my earliest. And people say that I remember when I was 2. I remember this.
I don't remember everything, but I have some very vivid memories yet.
Boy, I don't. Could be that. It could explain a lot.
I don't remember all of it, but I do have. There's some very vivid memories, and of certain things, not everything, but certain things.
No,
Oh, Pam's saying kids love to get the mail too. Yes.
Oh, kids do love to get mails. Yeah, that's exciting. Now, let me ask you, do they send one for each kid, or do they send one for the family?
We got one for each kid.
Oh, wow, nice.
Yeah.
That's even better.
Better.
Now back to more of Daybreak with Brian and Jamie.
7:52 right now. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. We've sure sparked some conversation about reading here this morning, which I love. Dick and Madison called in. Didn't want to be remiss and forget about the Curious George series. Love Curious George.
Who doesn't love Curious George and the man in the yellow hat?
Goodness. My goodness.
Why yellow? Is it a very
I don't know.
garish
Bananas,
hat?
Maybe. I don't know. But I loved Curious George as well. My kids did too. They were Curious George, sadly, for being their mom. Jolene chiming in on the text line very quickly as well before we get to our spelling bee, saying that she homeschooled her kids too. Their favorite series was Little House on the Prairie. She says, I read it out loud to them even when they were 10 and 12 years old. They loved when I read to them even as older kids. Yes, we had sheer reading time every day. Yep.
We had Debbie's full set of Little House, and then it took me a while to remember. I read all the Hardy Boys books.
Oh, yeah.
All of them. So we had my original set of all the Hardy Boys books in the house,
Nancy Drew,
too.
But yes. Nancy Drew and the Hardy Boys sometimes teamed up depending on what series and how
a
far
crossover,
you got in.
sure.
Yes,
a very special episode of Nancy Drew and the Hardy Boys. I also, we got to, can you tell I'm stalling? Because I'm a horrible speller.
Brian's scared.
Once books like Harry Potter and all of those kind of young adult books came out, it seemed like kids just started reading, and then the Captain Underpants and all the crazy books, and no matter what adults thought of them, kids were reading. And so good.
It was good.
Okay.
It was
all right,
good.
What's the deal? Why are we having a spelling bee? What's going on with the spelling bee? Tell me.
The 2026 Badger State Spelling Bee is going to be held on Saturday, tomorrow, at the Mitby Theater at Madison College Truax. That's here in Madison, and the event determines what Wisconsin representatives will go to the Scripps National Spelling Bee.
Oh, the big dog.
So this is a big thing. This is like the national contest.
Well, they're having a huge tailgate tomorrow outside of it to get ready.
Tailgating for a spelling bee. Oh my God.
Listen, Parker's body painting himself up. He's going to have letters all over him. That guy on the page with all those question marks on his suit. That's what Parker's going to be.
Yes.
All right, so
we're going to have a spelling bee in honor of this Badger State Spelling Bee happening tomorrow. Right. So I know Parker's going to be our judge here and our word giver.
Yes.
So all right, let's jump in.
Can we see? Let's see if we can get one call or two. 855-75-CIVIC, 855-75-CIVIC. The first person to call in who could get on the line, and I know, Parker, you're doing they can participate too, because I'm hoping there's somebody who's a worse speller than me.
Well, so each of you will get your own word.
Okay. All right. I'm ready.
All right. Brian, we're starting with you.
Of
Horribly
course.
sorry.
That's fine. Dog.
Your dog.
DAWG.
Oh. Your first word, Brian, is indict.
Indict. I know this word. INDICT. Indict.
Ooh, good job.
Well done.
Ooh.
Nice. That's a good start, Brian.
All right.
I was not sure. I was worried for you.
I was too.
All right, now Jamie, we're moving on to you.
Okay.
Threshold is your word.
THRESH. I got to think. OLD. Yay! I had to think if there was a double H there. There's not.
I was worried you were going to say A for a second.
It did sound like Jamie said A.
I'm sorry. No, I had to think for a second.
That's all right. All right, Brian, we're going back to you.
Okay.
Separate.
Oh man, that's why I have spell check. Could you use the word in a sentence, please?
Separate. I would like to separate my whites from my darks in my laundry.
Origin of the word?
This show. I said it, and I don't know anything else.
Separate. SEPERATE.
Oh.
It's ARATE, isn't it?
Yeah.
AR. Yeah.
I always get that one, though, too. I even had to write that one out to check myself.
See, there's certain words, no matter how many times you correct yourself, it's a mental. All right, so I was wrong. Jamie, you can take the lead. I know you want to win.
Yes. Jamie, I know desperately wants to win the Daybreak Spelling Bee. She wants to be the champion. I know.
Is there a trophy, a championship belt?
There's a high five.
Okay, that works.
Your word, Jamie, is handkerchief.
Oh, I gotta.
Oh, are we allowed to write it down?
I was gonna say this seems like cheating.
No, you're allowed to in the spelling bee too.
Are you really? You can stand up there with a
pen. Not in scripts,
not
but
scripts.
okay. So HANDKERCHIEF, handkerchief.
That's pretty good. Oh, so much joy from the little things.
Are you kidding? I want to go tailgating tomorrow at the spelling
I know
bee.
you do. You scared a woman at the doctor's office because you were so excited about this.
Frank told me we were doing this segment. I jump scared her sitting next to her.
All right. Jamie's up 2-1.
Jamie leads 2-1. Brian, we're back to you. This is a fitting word for you, sir. Euphemism.
Oh, I say it all the time. How do I not know how to spell it? Let's see. Euphemism. EUPHASIM. Euphemism. Wait, I left off an M, didn't I?
Oh,
yes.
Well, you also said A instead of E. It's EUPHEMISM.
I told you I was a bad speller. I've never been a good speller.
Brian. I really thought that you were going to have that one.
I know. Parker, I deal in spoken word.
I know. Jamie has already won. However, I am sure that she wants to have
she wants to,
one more
She wants to
word.
put the boot to me.
She wants to wrap us up here with conscience.
Oh, this is a hard one for me. CONSCIOUS.
Oh, no.
No, that's what I thought.
No.
Conscience, isn't it?
Oh, conscience.
Yes.
Yeah. See, that's the one I always have to spell out. See, I've got my vices too. We don't all get them right.
But you won.
Well, there you go.
Congratulations.
Jamie is
Here's your virtual high five. High
Five
five.
spelling bees I've now won in my life.
Who's counting?
It's 7:59 right now. This is Daybreak.
Text thaw. You have about 20 seconds. THAW. That's I can spell thaw because it's written out for me. Thaw to the Civic Media Network.
Wow.
That was a whole new level of nerd.
That was, yeah.
I should have written it down because, like euphemism, I can't see them in my head. You know, I can't picture the letters.
Mm-hmm.
Not that that would have really helped. Separate. I always screw up.
Yeah.
Always. I think because I pronounce it separate instead of separate.
Look
All
at
right,
people
you'll have
chiming in about
your
books.
revenge next year.
Well, I'll study. Maybe when the scripts one comes out, we have a rematch and use the actual scripts list.
Oh, God, those are hard.
They are.
I don't know. Those kids can't write. That's why I like the local level, because if they're going to write, they have to do it on their hand.
Brian, for the record, your next word was going to be miscellaneous.
MISCELLANEOUS.
Also, I don't know if your name's Brian.
It's all right. That's why when I would do...
I'll do this one.
On the overnight arcade, when I did the script spelling bee, I only had callers participate.
Yes.
We would go back and forth with callers. I never got involved. As Dirty Harry once said, Frank, a man's got to know his limitations.
That's right.
We had a lot of engagement. Tom saying he loved Dr. Seuss. We have saying his sister also loved Little House on the Prairie, and that he liked Jack London. Oh, yeah, Jack London books. Call of the Wild. That was a tough one, though, because the dog dies at the end. I didn't like anything where the dogs died. I would cry.
What's the dog doing?
Still can't watch Old Yeller. Can't do it. I can't do it.
We're mutts.
I always worried about Lassie. Marvel
Comics probably taught me to read, too, Pam.
Yeah. Alicia saying she was in remedial reading classes in 2nd grade. Now she devours books. Yes. Nobody thought Dexter could read till he was like 10 because he wouldn't read in front of anybody but me. He'd been reading since he'd been like 3 or 4, but he wouldn't read in front of anybody but me.
Nope, just shy.
self-conscious.
Mm.
He couldn't say his R's. He had to do
Got
speech
it.
therapy for R's. So he never wanted anybody to think he was stupid. Funny. He's still very much like that.
Is there anybody who wants people to think they're stupid other than
No.
the president?
There are times I wish people thought I was stupid, so they didn't ask me to do
The
things.
president embraces stupid.
I
Jamie-
find people think I'm stupid, which always gives me a little bit of an edge.
Oh, here's that comedy guy coming.
Yep. He
BB's
could only be funny. He doesn't have thoughts.
BB is at a podium right now.
Is it to prove that he's alive?
And
Just about
yes.
to
And gas prices are now $3.91 on average across the country. Barrels rose to over $110 this morning.
Nice.
Too much winning.
I'm tired of it.
Aren't you tired of it?
Tired of
I'm
winning.
sick of it.
I don't want to win.
We win too much.
Yeah. Let somebody else win. That's how I felt. What did I reference? Somebody else win. Oh, JB was talking about the documentary with the Press Your Luck guy. I referenced that documentary even though I haven't seen it. Last night, we were watching Wheel of Fortune while we were eating dinner, and this one couple dominant. The guy was guessing puzzles with like one letter. And it's like, what's going on?
That too.
And
It's
they
so annoying.
dominated. And I was like, this is like that thing. There's got to be, the fix is in. Something
Fix is
weird
in.
is happening.
Corey does that too when he loves, like, if you think I'm competitive, my husband will throw a frickin' pen at your head in the middle of a game. Like, he is just ridiculous.
All right, game night is canceled.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, we'll have friends who invite us to game night, and I'm like, oh, no, nope, we are a hard pass. We will not, because you will never speak to us again.
Yeah.
He's ridiculous.
Have you ever thought playing a game like that and set the whole scenario up and rig the game against him just to watch it?
Oh, he'd be so upset. He'd be so upset. He is way more competitive than I am. He throws out expletives. He'll call people names. And I'm like, these are
don't
people
we
you
all?
like.
So?
Yeah.
And then he follows it up with a pen to the head. And, like, I'm not even joking.
Real quick story. I had one of my best friends was dating a girl, and he went to St. Louis to meet her family, like extended family over the holidays.
Yeah.
And they were playing some game, and he had been drinking. And he looked at her uncle and said, F you, you're dead to me. Don't talk to me. And she texted all of us the next morning with a picture of him sitting on the couch with the quote. And to this day, I'll never forget it. It's so
that's
funny.
funny.
Insane.
That's hilarious.
Well, I told you when Ian yelled at me during a game and Molly was like, oh, no.
You probably deserved it. He's put the team on his back.
No, he was competitive. I didn't get mad because I know I probably would have done the same thing. And then it freed me up to be able to make comments because I'm like, well, listen, somebody came after me. Now I can,
you put that
gently
one in the
go
bank.
after other people.
Yeah. Of course.
That's funny.
Now the kid doesn't say shit to me.
Brian has never heard from his future son-in-law again. All right, well, we got 10 seconds.
Yeah, he doesn't say anything anymore.
What do we need to talk about?
From Lake Superior to Lake Michigan, this is Wisconsin's Morning Conversation. Daybreak with Brian and Jamie.
It's 8:06 right now. We hope that you are having a great start to your morning. If you are in La Crosse listening on WLCX, in Richland Center on WRCE, Wisconsin Rapids on WFHR, or Hayward on WBZH, thank you so much for joining us. This is Daybreak. My name is Jamie Martinson.
And I'm Brian Noonan. Good morning. If you want to get involved in the show, want to talk to us, we got a lot of people who were still sending things in about their favorite kids' books, their books when they were a kid. So you can do that. You can jump in on any topic, 855-75-CIVIC, 855-752-4842. Let's check a few headlines before we move on to some other things. We'll start with, Jamie, this was your favorite headline. Thank goodness.
It
so
is.
go ahead.
This is a big one. Governor Evers signed Gale's law to expand breast cancer screenings into law yesterday. This will affect, obviously, all of Wisconsin. The law requires insurance to cover additional tests like MRIs and ultrasounds, especially for women with dense breast tissue. It aims to catch cancer earlier and also improve survival rates, as about 6,000 women are diagnosed each year. The change also removes cost barriers so more women can get the screenings they need. That is a big win for the health of women throughout the state of Wisconsin.
Very good news. The U.S. Mint can now begin producing Trump commemorative gold coins. I know Frank's on the waiting list to get a couple of those. A federal arts commission on Thursday approved the final design for a 24-karat gold commemorative coin bearing President Trump's image to help celebrate America's 250th birthday. Not the way I want to celebrate, but that's just me. The vote by the U.S. Commission of Fine Arts, whose members are supporters of the Republican president and were appointed by him earlier this year, voted without objection. It clears the way for the U.S. Mint to begin production on the coin, whose size and denomination are still under discussion. It's going to be the biggest coin. It's going to be $1 billion coin.
And finally, in other headlines that you may have missed, Microsoft says that it's going to stop using non-disclosure agreements with local governments when planning new data centers. The company says the change is meant to improve transparency and also build trust with communities. Microsoft is also working to end existing NDAs already in place. It says, though, that it will still protect certain proprietary information where allowed by law. Well, I guess that's good news for all of the data centers that they keep trying to bring into the state of Wisconsin. Maybe by the time you get that much pushback from community after community, you have to rethink how you're doing things. I don't know. Weird.
Well, we talked about the oil prices earlier. Goldman Sachs has said that the spike could stretch into 2027. Brent crude, which is the benchmark global oil, rose 1.4% to $110.20. But now President Trump is saying, in an effort to reassure us that even though the gas prices are the highest in nearly 2.5 years, he said it's going to be over pretty soon. But 3 weeks in, the conflict shows no signs of abating, and 2027 is still a long way away.
And just this morning, oil prices per barrel rose to $110. On average right now, we're seeing about just new numbers this morning within the last few minutes, about $3.91 per gallon. I know community to community, state to state, that is going to vary. But it turns out it's not getting better anytime.
Not getting better at all. All right, I want you to share your thoughts on this. So most politicians say that they're retiring to spend time with their family. That's the line. Do you believe that? Or what do you think the real reason is that a politician will step down? There's a specific case that brought this question up. 855-75-CIVIC, 855-752-4842. Spend time with their families. True or just a cover? So the reason we're asking, Jamie, is State Senate Majority Leader Devin LeMahieu announced that he will not seek re-election, ending his time in office after more than a decade. He's represented his district since 2015 and has been the top Republican leader in the Senate since 2020. And he, again, used the, I want to start a new chapter and spend more time with my family.
I found this to... Honestly, after some of the rhetoric that we heard from the GOP over the weekend, I was not shocked by this when this news came out yesterday. Good for him. I mean, if you want to hang up the gavel and you're ready to move on and do something else, good for you. Obviously, what we are looking at now in the state capitol is completely different leadership on the GOP going forward. With this coming off the heels of Robin Vos announcing his retirement a few weeks ago. Here's what I'm going to say, and this might be wildly unpopular with some of our listeners, and let me explain my reasoning in just a moment. Really, honestly, Robin Voss and LeMahieu have been wildly successful at their jobs.
Mhm.
Now, I don't.
You don't
say
have to
that
like what they do.
I didn't like what they did, but they were wildly successful at their jobs. They were able to make sure that their caucus was always together. They were able to get them to vote the way they needed to. They were able to be stalwarts on certain policies. They were able to hold things up. They were wildly successful. I know we don't like to admit that. When it comes to what their job actually was, they did it very well. So I think the next few weeks, few months, as we look forward to a midterm election where we're also going to be electing a new governor for this state, I think this is going to be fascinating to play out and see if there are actually any front runners that come out as who will be in charge at as far as legislative leadership. My next question is it really spending time with families, or is there something else going on here? Like, is there writing on the wall for what's happening across the nation and this wave that people are feeling, or really do they feel like, hey, I've done everything I can, it's time?
Well, for LeMahieu, it may have had to do with, you mentioned the inflammatory rhetoric. There were threats that if he brought 2 bills to the Senate floor last week, which he ended up doing, that he would be out. And so maybe it was just like, all right, fine. I've had enough. If my own party is turning against me, what's the point?
Sure.
So there could be that. Wishful thinking is that they do see writing on the wall. The worst that can happen is like, well, we heard it from the president when it came to Iran. You get somebody who's worse, and worse meaning for the Democrats, because I don't know how you could have anybody rally their group better than LeMahieu and Voss, as you said. But who knows? Maybe you'd get people in there who wouldn't. Well, Voss really didn't cooperate too much with the other side either. So I don't know. All right. That argument's no good because you really couldn't get anybody worse as far as being stonewalling Democratic efforts. But to see the fact that there could be this blue wave coming, you want to get out of the way early because he's not the only high-profile Republican that said, you know what, I'm done.
Yeah, in fact, there's been a wave of them this week, and we'll get to those in a second. Roger from Stevens Point chiming in on the text line this morning. They've reached a breaking point, says Roger. Most Republicans are tired and stressed because of their allegiance to Donald Trump. That might be true. Robin Voss actually indicated that he did receive a lot of pressure to step down from his role when he spoke at the Madison Press Club this week for WIS Politics. He alluded to the pressure he got from Mike Lindell, the my Pillow CEO.
Is he still able to exert pressure? How is he still able to exert any pressure?
But I think it's interesting that even a guy like Robin Voss, who did his job so well and basically stood by the GOP agenda for so long, at some point was like, you know what, I've had enough. I've kind of had enough, and it's time for me to go do something else. Now, we mentioned some of these others that won't be seeking re-election. We've had a bit of a wave on the Republican side this week. Senator Van Wangard from Racine, he represents Senate District 21. He has come out and said he will not seek re-election. The Assembly Speaker Pro Temp Kevin Peterson from Assembly District 57 announced yesterday he will also not be seeking re-election. And Representative Rick Gundrum from Slinger, representing Assembly District 58, also said yesterday he will not be seeking re-election. Now, remember, in the Assembly, because of fairer maps, the Democrats started making a dent in those numbers. Now, 3 is obviously not going to replace and get the majority, but I think it's interesting that they are now making could potentially make an even bigger dent depending on what happens as we go forward here.
Roger brought up an interesting point. If your only ability to govern is based on what, as a Republican, is what Donald Trump wants, it has to be, for some, not for all, but for some it has to be a little disheartening, a little pressure, because let's be honest, I think most of us get tired of having to think about one person. I do long for the days when we didn't really have to think about the president every day. We just trusted that they were doing their job and it was it. So I know people are getting tired of being bombarded with nonstop. So it would have to be the same for our elected officials who are like, but this isn't good for us. It's not good for Wisconsin to have to always kowtow to what this administration is wanting us to do. So I fought what I could fight, but I can't, and it's not worth the hassle anymore.
Now, I had mentioned that it was a little harder for the Democrats to make inroads as far as numbers in the Assembly. On the Senate, though, I think it is a little bit more fascinating because we're going to see a lot of turnover in leadership all the way across the board in 2027. But with with the reduced Republican advantage because of the maps, the Senate is much more competitive, and Democrats actually have a real chance to gain some control here going into 2027. And so, there, everybody, when they step down, has their reason for doing so. I have to, but this is where I start to wonder, are they seeing a little bit of a wave? Are they concerned about the numbers? We see these external polls all the time,
Sure.
and I know some people don't trust them. The internal polls that the parties are privy to with what the voting habits look like and where people are leaning are much more accurate usually than what we see on an external layer. So maybe there is something to be said for that. It's really hard to speculate, but I don't know. There's going to be a bit of a vacuum, I think, in leadership, especially on the Republican side, at least for a wee bit anyway.
Well, John makes a point. He's in Oshkosh listening to WISS. He says, follow the money. These people will all walk into a huge payday with a new private sector role, which makes what I had said, that they're just tired of dealing with all this, so much easier. It's easy to walk away from a gig when you know you've got a big money gig waiting for you. It all kind of ties together. And here's the irony, you take that big money private sector job, how much extra time are you going to have with your family? You're going to be making the big money.
Right.
Not much.
And in fact, LeMahieu actually says that he's going to step away to engage in supporting conservative policies from the outside. So essentially confirming what John is saying, those private sector jobs.
Yep.
At least he told us the quiet part out loud in this particular case, right? They don't always do that. I don't know where this is headed, but I think if you are somebody who is interested in politics in the state of Wisconsin, if you're interested in watching the process play out, if you're tired of watching the GOP constantly be in charge in this state, there's a prime opportunity to maybe flip that script a little bit, or at least increase the Democratic numbers as far as representation across the board. So you got to be a little excited, maybe a little weary, but maybe a little excited too if you're watching politics play out in Wisconsin right now. I guess maybe this makes me even more excited for all of the upcoming elections because, there is a chance to maybe change some things across the state and in the Capitol.
Well, we can only hope. That's what we're looking for.
Yeah.
When we come back, oh man, Michael Alfonso and Sean Duffy in the news. Another blackmail attempt, for lack of a more refined term, has not panned out for the administration. We'll get to all of that and so much more as we head toward the bottom of the 8:30 hour here on Daybreak. I'm Brian Noonan.
I'm Jamie Martinson. It's 8:19 right now. This is the Civic Media Network. There are people outside walking around without coats and looking like people are just coming out of like their shelters for like a bomb shelter for the first time after the big long winter months.
That's hilarious.
Very quiet down here though today. There's like no traffic or anything.
I was thinking that. Yeah.
Are people off? There's no holiday, is there?
No.
It's just Friday.
No.
Yeah, but very quiet. There wasn't even like that big. Well, but the legislature's shut down now. There's nothing.
Yeah. So
that's true.
Or anyone, journalists. Yeah.
Because usually like this time of the morning, there's a stack of cars going down the street towards the Capitol, and then they all get piled up at the stoplight. But that's not even happening today.
Huh.
But
I'll be able to make it home quicker.
Yes. Well.
I get out pretty quick.
Is it garbage day today on the side roads? Well, because
I think that's during the week.
Yeah, the way I have to go home, The way I have to go home, the quickest route to go home is to go down those really narrow Madison streets where everybody has to put their garbage on the front curb.
Sure.
And then
Okay.
you have only 2 lanes, right? But those are also parking lanes. And because I don't understand how the streets work here. That's a road. Why can you park in that lane? At any rate, and then they put their garbage cans there, and then the trucks have to pull up along the curb, and then there's also cars parked there. So it makes like this little narrow 2-lane, even narrower, like a half a lane sometimes.
Yeah, that'll happen.
So there have been many a times I'm like, ooh, I have plenty of time to get home. And then I get there and I'm like, oh, I'm behind a garbage truck.
I got no time.
I am getting very, very, going very slowly. Oh, Frank got evacuated. The delivery guys are there and assembling his couch.
Ooh. Oh, good for him.
You said evacuated. I was like, oh, God.
I know. What happened?
Meth lab blow up a little?
No, that was Max. He's fine.
Jeez.
That was Max's apartment. And no, it wasn't a meth lab. We don't think.
Oh, well, that's good.
We don't think.
It's always good when there's not a meth lab under you.
Nobody could confirm why they were evacuated for 4 hours the other day.
No. All right, couple seconds.
Fairly solid and better than expected. It's Daybreak with Brian and Jamie.
It's 8:22 right now. Thank you for joining us on this Friday. This is the Civic Media Network. You are listening to Daybreak. My name is Jamie Martinson.
Hey, good morning. I'm Brian Noonan. If you travel between Superior, Wisconsin and Duluth, Minnesota, you have no doubt gone over the Blatnick Bridge. The bridges need some repairs, and there was a lot of talk about that. And funds were being withheld because who knows? The administration? I don't know why. I don't remember. I think it had to do with voting blocks
we don't want
tariffs
to support,
or
we don't want to support economy and transportation.
Yeah. God forbid.
We didn't want to do those. No.
So they were holding back money, but now, good news, more than $1 billion in federal funding has been approved to replace the Blatnick Bridge. The total cost is going to be about $1.8 billion, but this is a huge, huge artery, as I mentioned, between Wisconsin and Minnesota.
Yeah, absolutely. And the bridge was built in 1961. It is set to close due to age and condition. The delay in funding had raised concerns about the rise in construction costs. Wisconsin and both Minnesota are each contributing $400 million to repair this bridge. About $400 billion in goods cross this bridge every single year because it connects Superior, Wisconsin, and Duluth, Minnesota. The project is expected to create about 1,000 construction jobs, over 1,000 construction jobs, and could take 5 to 7 years once it begins. Now, the project is expected to go out for bids in June. So we bring this up because yay for Sean Duffy. This all had to be approved by Wisconsin's own Transportation Secretary, Sean Duffy. But then, Brian, on the heels of that, because every time there's good, there's bad.
Of course. Of course.
More questionable in this particular case. On the heels of that, we also got news that Sean Duffy, in this massive $16 billion rail project in New York and New Jersey, it's all being tied now to him and his son-in-law, who is running in the 7th District for Tom Tiffany's old seat, as Tom Tiffany runs for governor of the great state. And all of this funding for this $16 billion rail project has officially been frozen. And
shocking.
The details are where it's at.
Spill the tea. Where are what is the details? What do we need to know? What corporate and political corruption play in?
Around the same time that they were trying to approve this massive project, lobbyists connected to transportation and infrastructure started donating to Michael Alfonso in Wisconsin's 7th District, who happens to be, as we mentioned, Sean Duffy's son-in-law. Now, Alfonso had no direct control over federal transportation decisions, but of course, his father-in-law does. So many of the donors have businesses in industries regulated or actually funded by Duffy's department, including airlines, rail companies, construction, and even tech. Some of those donors had never previously contributed to Duffy or other Wisconsin politicians. So now this is raising questions about why they have decided to donate now. Now, let us be clear. The donations are legal. They are legal.
Okay.
But there's some ethics involved in this, as there often many times are with many of the administration officials right now. There's this appearance that giving money could help influence decisions at the federal level. And Alfonso has obviously benefited from those connections, including some shared consultants with Duffy and support from a super PAC that funded about $1 million from Duffy's former campaign. Now, there are some Wisconsin Republicans, as you can imagine, who are frustrated with all of this. Duffy has even appeared at campaign events for Alfonso, even though officials say he's doing it in a personal capacity, not using his government role. You're the transportation secretary.
Yeah.
Everybody knows that. You can't separate the two. But thank you. But Wisconsin Republicans are worried because Alfonso could gain an advantage because of the family ties. Now, if you remember and were able to listen to us earlier this week, civicmedia.us, to see all of our past shows, by the way, you will remember that we talked about the fact that the GOP in the 7th District wouldn't endorse any candidate.
Right.
Because they weren't comfortable doing so. And now here we are having this conversation today.
It's strange how things are all connected once you start pulling on the thread.
Yeah.
To see what's up.
Yeah. So I'll give Duffy credit where credit is due for funding this major bridge project. But then I'm going to take a look at this situation and think, wow, is this really what we're going to do? Because if you're a voter in Wisconsin, especially the 7th District, who is this campaign working for? Right? Because that's my question. The people in this district, or are they essentially working for a network of donor and connections behind the scenes? And if Alfonso gets elected to a national level, to a national seat, representing the state, what are his priorities?
There's nothing about this story, unfortunately, that surprises me.
No.
And to answer your question, I don't believe there's very many politicians who are working for the people. When you get to a certain level, you are beholding. That's why it always goes back to money, money, money. We got to get all this money out of politics, because I don't care how ethical or unethical you are. When somebody's giving you that kind of money, you owe them one way or another. And whether they tell you you do or not, or whether you think you do or not, you're beholden to these people who give you all that money. And if you're ethical, you can walk the line and still do your best. If you're unethical, slide up to the trough, piggy, and start eating, because it's just going to keep coming.
Yeah, and I think, and I would understand if the GOP of the 7th District had any inkling that this was going on, or it was going to be a national story at some point. I can understand why they were hesitant to be like, he's our guy. We're going to totally endorse him, right?
Well, we'll see. All right, well, listen, there's some other good news, and we're going to talk about affordable housing with NeighborWorks Green Bay when we come back. So stick around. It's always fun, Jamie.
It is on the Civic Media Network. Big out.
Boom.
Big ups.
All right.
Good morning, Noel.
Good morning.
Good morning, Noel.
Glad
Good
to
morning.
have you here.
Thanks for having me.
Well, we are excited to talk about this. Anytime we can talk about more affordable housing and programs to get people in homes, I think that's a good day. We have about 5 minutes. So we have a wee bit of time here. How was the weather today in Green Bay?
It's going to be a warmer day, and we're going to lose a lot of that snow that fell.
How much did you guys get?
It seemed like there was 2 feet of snow at my house. So there was a lot.
Yeah, that would make sense. One of our staff lives up in Marinette, and they had 30 inches there. So,
yeah, they got creamed, in the Door County Peninsula got creamed. It was pretty intense.
Yuck. These warmer temperatures should help some of that. Gives us that taste for spring, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, well, it's funny to have that kind of snowfall after you had a day where it hit 60.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, even tomorrow it's supposed to be 70 through most of the state, so it's this crazy pattern. Yeah.
Was tomorrow? Is it tomorrow or today that spring officially starts?
Oh, I don't know. That's a good question.
I think it's tomorrow.
I think
Well, that'll be perfect before it gets down to 40 again.
Mm-hmm. Well, 40 in spring isn't bad.
No. At least that's doable. At least it's not that bone chilling. You can still get outside. At least
no! At 9:46 this morning, it'll be spring.
Oh,
okay.
There you go.
All right. Awesome. I'll take it.
So no more snow. Officially spring.
Yeah,
no more snow.
That's the rule, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because Mother Nature famously is
Right.
great at rules.
She listens.
Listening to that. Yeah.
Corey's birthday is April 14th, and it's either like 85 degrees or we're getting some sort of snowstorm or we're recovering from a snowstorm.
Yeah, I've got an April birthday
we've-
coming up too.
I don't know if we've ever had like a nice day. Just a nice day, right? Like it's either been really hot or the weather's just been awful.
On his birthday?
Yeah.
Oh.
Just because of the time of year, I think that he is. What I appreciate this weekend is ABC trotted the Bachelorette that they just canceled out onto the red carpet for the Oscars, and made her do like press junkets and take photos, and yikes. That just looks like a bad decision all the way around. Because they had to know about the videos.
It's wild that it came out, like, what was it supposed to premiere? Tomorrow, probably?
Yeah.
Maybe
Sunday.
Sunday.
Yeah, Sunday was the premiere. Or was going to be the premiere.
But think of all of the press that ABC has gotten off this.
None of it good.
Yeah, not good.
Not it's good, but sometimes doesn't matter to some of those places. Oh, look at BTS is back.
Oh.
They finally finished their South Korean military service, and they're making another album.
Oh, is that why they were gone? They were in the military?
Yeah, that's mandatory service in South Korea.
They were given an exemption if they wanted it.
Oh, really? I didn't know
because they bring so much to the South Korean economy. But they didn't
Yeah, I
take it.
suppose.
They still chose to serve.
Good for them.
But their schedule, though, was lighter than others because they still got to do, like, some individual projects and things like that. And maybe we can have popcorn version like 82 from BTS now.
All right, we've got about 20 seconds till we're back here. Noel, just so you know, I will give you hand signals for how many minutes we got left when we get down to the end. If you start to hear music, that means you just got a couple of seconds left, so we got to wrap it up. And if you could, our microphone is kind of picking up that typing and mouse, so if you could, please refrain from that during the segment. Thank you.
Sure. Now I just lost my window with you guys in it.
Local voices, statewide impact. It's Daybreak with Brian and Jamie.
Thank you so much for joining us this morning. This is the Civic Media Network. My name is Jamie Martinson.
And good morning, I'm Brian Noonan. The Wisconsin State Senate passed Assembly Bill 454, a proposal authored by State Representative Ahmad Rivera-Wagner of Green Bay to expand access to home ownership for working families across Wisconsin. The bill is designed to bring the American dream of home ownership back within reach. NeighborWorks Green Bay had some input on the bill, and Noel Halverson, who is the president and CEO of NeighborWorks Green Bay, joins us now to tell us what's in the bill and how it'll help working families across Wisconsin. Noel, we're grateful for your time. Thanks for being here. So the bill creates, from what I read, a workforce home loan program. What exactly is that program? How does it work?
Yeah, the program's going to allow for modest income families to get into the homeownership game. They're been increasingly priced out of the market due to the high cost of homes or the high cost of debt, and this will offer a second mortgage loan that will make the home more affordable for them because of the lower payments that'll come from it. They can get up to $60,000 or 25% of the purchase price of the home, whichever's less, under this program.
Noel, as we jump into this conversation, this is an area that your organization is very well versed in, right? You work with homeowners, you work with teaching people how to save for home ownership. So for people who aren't familiar with NeighborWorks Green Bay, what kind of work are you guys doing in the community that tied you into this particular bill?
Sure. NeighborWorks Green Bay helps families prepare for home ownership. That American dream that we all aspire to, or many aspire to. We've educated and counseled over 20,000 prospective home buyers over the years, and helped 4,000 Green Bay area families get into home ownership through that counseling, that education, making smart decisions, saving money, putting a household budget together, figuring out what you can actually afford, buying within your means, doing the smart things the way maybe previous generations did it, and even though the families that we're working with, follow the rules, if you will, they're having a tougher and tougher time accessing the market just because the prices keep going up, and the cost of debt keeps going up. And so we're looking for new tools that can help families attain that dream of home ownership, build some equity over their lives, and have something to pass on to their kids.
Well, no, one of the big things that people say when they're trying to buy a house is, man, I've been making my rent payment, which is more than a mortgage payment will be, but it's that down payment. So you talked about this loan being up to $60,000, 25% or less of the value of the home. What's the interest on this? How are people supposed to pay this back? Because it sounds like, okay, even with a mortgage payment and this second loan, it should still be equal or just more than what a lot of rents are.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that we find when we're working with families to purchase homes every day. Oftentimes, when I went through my home ownership journey, I was renting for more than my mortgage payment ended up being once I became a homeowner. And one of the tools that NeighborWorks Green Bay has offered historically is a down payment and closing cost assistance loan, a small, deferred payment loan that just kind of helps you clear that hurdle. And this program is a bigger loan, up to $60,000 or 25% of the purchase price. And there's no interest on that loan. It has to be paid back, but it's they're not going to be charging interest on it. And and for some low income buyers, the starting of those payments is actually deferred for a few years, and so it'll help folks. You've got to spend a lot of money when you move into a house.
Yes, you do.
There's always something that either you plan for or you didn't plan for that can cost thousands of dollars, and just equipping the place, and the surprise of something that's broken that needs to be fixed, and all those other things. And so that can be really helpful. But the key for this program, though, is that it isn't deferred. It will come back to the pot and go out and help another family someday. And I think that's the really important thing when you're looking at some of these. There's limited resources available to make good things happen in our communities, and you want to make sure that they work for us for the long haul.
We're talking with Noel Halverson. He is the president and CEO of NeighborWorks in Green Bay, nwgreenbay.org, if you want to check out more about their program. Now, it was noted in this bill, and I find this astounding, since buying a home is such an American dream, that the average first-time home buyer is now around 40 years old. So what, in your experience, Noel, does that tell us about how tough this job market, or this housing market, I should say, has actually become?
Yeah, and we're seeing that, all over. It's when I started working with some of these families, some years ago, it was the median age of our buyers was 30, and now it's advanced a decade to 40, and when you think about purchasing a home, and now you're purchasing a home for hopefully something that's reasonable, but we're seeing sale prices for homes the $300,000 pushing $400,000. If you're taking on that kind of a debt load at age 40, and that thing, if it's a 30-year mortgage that you're paying down, you're going to be 70 something when that house is finally paid off. You might actually pass before you've paid that off. There's just less opportunity to build that cushion, right? It used to be that somebody could look at the fact that they might be thinking about retirement at a time when they don't have that mortgage payment hanging over their head anymore, and they're in a situation where if they needed to tap the equity in their home or do something else creative to deal with the health surprise, or leverage that equity for some other life change, they could do that. And if you're not buying until you're 40 years old, then you don't have some of those options downstream, and that can be a challenge in itself. We'd love to see the median age of buyers go back the other direction, and for younger people to be able to access the housing market.
Well, Noel, we know NeighborWorks Green Bay was involved and had some input on this. What other groups were involved in crafting this bill along with the senator?
Well, I think that it was really exciting. I had met Representative Rivera Wagner when he was the mayor's chief of staff in Green Bay, and he was working on developing a community land trust, and we've worked with him on that. And actually, NeighborWorks Green Bay has recently launched that program, a way to ensure permanent affordability for homes in the trust. But the community as a whole, was at the table with us when we were talking. The local Habitat for Humanity was there, and other interested, community stakeholders, talking about the challenges facing aspiring home buyers in the Green Bay area. But I know also that a lot of folks across the state have been engaged in the conversations about this, and habitat organizations around Wisconsin have put their voices into this, and it's really been a team effort, as kind of everything in housing needs to be these days if we're going to make a difference and move the needle for the working families of our communities.
Noel Halverson is the president and CEO of NeighborWorks of Green Bay, nwgreenbay.org. Now, you mentioned a little earlier in our conversation here today that this program is designed to be repaid as well as reused. So for anybody who's interested in this program, explain to us why that's important for long-term housing support.
Sure. The notion of funding a gap for somebody to achieve that dream of homeownership has been around for a long time, and there are really great tools. There's a program called Down Payment Plus that is available from member banks in the Federal Home Loan Bank of Chicago, and it provides a forgivable down payment assistance package for folks who are trying to get into homeownership, and that's that's a really powerful tool for many folks, because it really helps just clear that hurdle of getting into homeownership if they've got all the other ducks lined up. But as you look at the deeper needs for some families, particularly when you get to that below 80% of the area median income, folks who are working hard every day and and I believe deserve to have that dream of homeownership and attain it, the gap between what they can put together with their income, because it isn't keeping up with the rest of the costs of living, to get into that home requires a deeper subsidy, and but if it's something that goes in there and is gone, you can't use it again. Whereas if it goes into a family as a loan, even a low cost or no cost loan, but they have to pay it back, well then that can help the next family and the next family on down the line. We make loans to families at NeighborWorks Green Bay that are no interest deferred payment until they sell, or it's no longer their primary residence. But that money comes back and helps the next family purchase a home as well. And I think it's really important that when our communities invest in homeownership, that they invest in a way that keeps those resources working in perpetuity for future generations of home buyers.
We're talking to Noel Halverson. He's president and CEO of NeighborWorks Green Bay. nwgreenbay.org is their website if you want to find out more about the work they do. We've only got a couple minutes left, Noel, but you mentioned Habitat for Humanity. I have some experience working with them. How does this new proposed program that's coming in the bill expand on or differ from what Habitat for Humanity offers?
Well, I think all of us who are working in the community development space, trying to bring homes to the market that may be, lower cost than some other homes that are coming into the market, need to find something to close the gap between what it still costs to build that house and what we're trying to sell it for. And in some cases, that gap between what it actually costs to build something and what the client that we're trying to sell a house to can afford can be in the tens of thousands of dollars. And tools like this will help, not only the average home buyer, but it'll help an organization like Habitat or an organization like NeighborWorks Green Bay when they're looking at putting that deal together. Think about the ultimate financing that family's going to be having and how they're going to make that work for them in the long haul, and have a sustainable set of payments. But one that may also mean that the organizations bringing those houses to the market don't necessarily have to sink as many dollars into that home as they might otherwise.
We have just a couple of seconds left, Noel, and before we get the wrap up here, if people are listening right now, they're thinking about home ownership, they feel like it's out of reach, what should they be doing right now? And again, just a couple of seconds.
Sure. If they could, they reach out to a local organization like a NeighborWorks Green Bay that helps families prepare for home ownership. We've got classes, one-on-one education and counseling, tools to help you ascertain whether you're ready, and if you are ready, put a plan together to make it work.
Noel Halverson, president and CEO of NeighborWorks Green Bay, nwgreenbay.org. Noel, thanks for your time today. Have a great weekend. We'll be back with more on the Civic Media Network.
All right, we're clear.
Thank you, Noel.
Right,
that was
thank
fantastic.
you, Noel. That was great.
Thank you so much.
You're very
we
welcome. Have a great
time
weekend.
This morning.
Yeah, just a note too, in addition to AB 454, the legislature's passed some other really good stuff around housing. The other things maybe a little bit more in the weeds, but some great tools and I think some ways to hopefully bring more affordable housing to the market, whether rent or own.
Awesome. We
Cool.
appreciate that information.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thanks
You
a
have
lot,
great
Noel.
day.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Great guy. Very knowledgeable.
Yes.
Mike from Appleton has a question, apparently.
Okay.
Look at him. He's a green dot.
Oh, there we go.
Who are these people?
I didn't see the phone call.
No, you're good.
I thought
I knew
that
you were busy.
I thought that he texted that I have a
you're
question.
good. You're good.
It's like, oh.
No, you're good. I knew you were busy. I knew you'd get to it. No, drop everything now.
Oh, yeah, we're supposed to be talking for the show within the show. Hi,
Yeah,
show
sorry,
within the
sorry.
show.
I was reading emails.
No, I was,
Sorry, I was reading an email.
Nope, don't worry. I was doing other things too. Hey, we're glad you're watching on the stream. We're glad
Friday.
to be back. Yes.
Sometimes we also have to do other stuff.
Yeah, I was done.
We're also
I'm
very
not done,
busy
I'm
people. We get to do Dairyland Diaries, though. That's good stuff. Oh, Mr. Plow King giving us the big side eyes there.
Sorry, Mr. Plow King. I know we left you hanging.
We weren't entertaining you.
Ask us a question, Mr. Plow King, and we will answer it.
Do you ever feel like Dance Monkey Dance?
Yeah, that's all right. Listen, that's what I signed up for. Sometimes, though, tell us what ask us anything. It's Friday. You have probably 12 seconds to ask us anything.
35 seconds. Get
All
those
right,
questions in quick.
I was going to say, by the time the question comes in,
Type
we
quick.
formulate an answer.
Type quick.
Do you like that I picked that one
Yes.
Dairyland story just
Thank
for you, Jamie?
I was just going to say that. That's
Yep.
awesome.
I don't know what it is, so I will be
Well,
surprised.
that's right.
Yeah.
You don't.
15 seconds until we find out.
Says you. That is true.
We're going to milk this for all it's worth. It's Dairyland Diaries, a look at local stories around Wisconsin.
It's 8:52 right now. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. We love this part of the week because we take a break from all of the politics, all of the negativity that, is constantly bestowed upon us all on a daily basis, and we highlight some of the good stuff happening all around Wisconsin.
Yes,
I
and
love
it's
it.
all Wisconsin. It's all kicking off the weekend. So let's kick it off by talking about one Wisconsin city that is the happiest in the nation. A new report from personal finance website Wallet Hub analyzed 182 cities, the 150 most populated cities in the U.S., as well as at least 2 of the cities with the highest population in each state. And here you go, Madison, Wisconsin was chosen the 12th happiest city in America for 2026. We're only a few months in. Talk to me in December. But for right now, Madison is one of the happiest cities. Milwaukee came in 153rd out of 182. So Madison, you are rocking it. You're happy. Wallet Hub evaluated those cities on 29 key indicators of happiness, including income growth, depression rates, and average daily leisure time. Now, not counting the Badger basketball fans from yesterday, which brought the depression rates up. The indicators were considered, weighted at varying amounts in 3 categories: emotional and physical well-being, income and employment, and community environment. Madison particularly stood out in the emotional and physical well-being category. It ranked 13th. So that is excellent. And if you're wondering, Fremont, California was voted the happiest city in the U.S.
Oh, well.
Congrats to everybody in Madison.
That's right.
I want to see a spring in everybody's step as you
That's
are
right.
in the 12th happiest city in America.
Not just because in less than an hour it's officially spring and the weather is going to be beautiful. We want an actual spring in the step. This is a story that you chose specifically for my background, and I love this. And I actually some of our storm chasers actually met this kid, and you'll find out all about this in a minute. But he is a Hayward High School senior. His name is Egan Young, and he is fascinated with hailstorms and tornadoes. Well, aren't we all? His fascination with weather-related events began with the September 14th. 2014 hailstorm. He remembers that date as if it were yesterday, and his interest then expanded into storm chasing, which is the practice of tracking and pursuing severe weather, especially those tornadoes, which are a little harder to get than most people think. But anyway, documented the storms through photographs and video. Now, Egan actually attended the National Storm Chaser Summit. That is held on a yearly rotation. It's held in multiple cities. This year it was held in Denver, Colorado.
Okay.
And that event draws everyone from credentialed meteorologists to weather diehards. Our company streams that entire event.
Oh, I was going to ask if you guys were there.
Yes, we stream the entire event. Some of our chasers are actually on the board that help organize this, and my husband is also very instrumental in making sure the 3-day festivities go off without a hitch.
Look at
now,
that.
At the particular summit, we were not there, though, this year because other job commitments. But at the summit, Egan was thrilled to win a Vortex Award, yes, for the best shock and awe selfie of 2025. It was this carefully framed photo of his reaction to an F3 tornado in the background. He exhibited a growing interest in storms as he learned about major weather events that happened in northwestern Wisconsin. We mentioned that hailstorm, but there was also the 2016 Bayfield floods and the 2017 tornado, which occurred while he was playing at a piano recital. Always dump the piano, go storm chasing. That's what my husband would tell him. Now, Egan said he attended for 2 reasons this year. He wanted to learn and he also wanted to connect, and winning the Vortex Award was the icing on the cake. Now, in case you're wondering, he is a certified Skywarn spotter and serves as a weather watcher. He operates an official weather station that contributes observations to the National Weather Service. He has actually documented 12 tornadoes, a good career ahead of him, and his most memorable tornado was in June of last year. It was the Gary, South Dakota EF3 tornado, where he captured that selfie, and yes, that was an incredible
It was a very cool photo.
It was. It was a good tornado. Didn't cause any damage. Stayed in the fields. That's where we like to see him.
All right. Yeah, and he's going to school to study meteorology. So
Love it.
I saw that story. I was like, well,
Yes.
if there was one more Taylor, the only thing that would have made it better is if he also won a spelling bee while he was there.
Or we did it at the same time.
We got to see if he got 35 on his ACTs, though.
Okay.
All right, so let's move from storm chasing to food. Here's who won the 2026 food fight for the Wisconsin Timber Rattlers, your local minor league baseball team. The winner of the 2026 Salmon's Meat Products Food Fight for the Wisconsin Timber Rattlers. That you got to consolidate that name a little bit, folks. It's this year's competition, which was the Brat edition, received 130 submissions of recipes using one of 4 provided Salmon's Meat product bratwurst. So the submissions were narrowed down to the top 5 recipients. David Clark from Wild Rose was announced as the big winner. He had a Naff's Nacho Poutine recipe. Yes, made with sliced badger brat coins on crispy waffle fries topped with beer cheese and fresh cheese curds. Oh, David.
Now I'm hungry.
You're a man who's after my own heart. The other finalists all sound delicious. There was a Southwest Grand Slam. There was a Reuben bratwurst, a pizza bratwurst, and a hot honey brat. Those were the other 5, but congratulations to the winner. And congratulations on us for getting through those 3 Dairyland Diary stories before Parker started swinging at us, because we got to go. It's the weekend.
It is the weekend. It is the weekend, but hopefully those take you out on a bit of a higher note. I know the politics can get heavy in the world, and there's a lot of things going on, but let's focus on some of the good stuff happening right around us, too. We have a minute yet? Did we?
Yes. I did.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah. All right. So let me. I know. I panicked. I panicked because I see in there the Southwest Grand Slam. This sounds great. Jalapeno and pepper jack brat, topped with pickled onions, roasted corn and black bean salsa, cilantro and lime, and served on a brioche bun with avocado cream. And then the one that really got me, the hot honey brat. Classic brat topped with hot honey, brown mustard, and caramelized onions on a soft roll. So that officially ends Dairyland Diaries for this Friday. No, Mr. Plow King, ketchup is not allowed on a hot dog once you get past kindergarten. Yes, I'm a purist. Yes, you can argue, but no, you cannot at me. So there you go. No ketchup on the hot dogs or on bratwurst. Spicy mustard, sauerkraut.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Stop it. Cheese sauce, whatever. Now it's time to go.
Now. Yes, 8:59. This has been Daybreak. Thank you for joining us on the Civic Media Network.
Thanks. Bye.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't know why I panicked. I looked up and I went,
yeah, what are you panicking
50,
for?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It's
okay. Well, because 59.50, that's the one that
59.50 always gets me. So I was like, we're at 8:58 something. And I was like, oh, no, wait, not 8:58.50, 8:59.50.
All right, live stream.
Yeah,
Very
see you live
quickly.
stream.
Have a good weekend.
Have a great weekend.